This is it. Either you do or you die. The NBA playoffs, the strong survive. Crunch time, gut check, now or never. Game 6 playoffs, it gets no better. The top seed in the East is still in the hole. The Rip Hamilton and Wallace get back on the roll. TMac in the O-Town attacks and the Pistons packing. Game 6, that's what's happening. Back in the Hornets' nest, will the answer stop the questions and prove who's best? Phillies up 3-2 and it's on to Game 6. Gamache and the Hornets get back in the mix. Pippen and the Blazers rocked in Game 5. Home for Game 6 with their dreams alive. It's Game 6 and Dallas leads 3 games to 2. Dirk, Nash, and Finley, it's all up to you. ESPN, EA.
Night 14 of the 2003 NBA playoffs, and they are ready in Central Florida to see if the Orlando Magic can find a way to round 2 and become the 3rd team in the history of the league to be the 8th seed and knock out a 1 seed. Ben Wallace and the Pistons say, not so fast. Tracy McGrady and the Magic so close to moving on to round 2. We're already the New Jersey Nets and the Boston Celtics are, and after our game, Philadelphia goes to New Orleans to try to move on to round 2 as one. A great night of hoops, and we're starting here in Orlando. Good evening, everyone, with Tom Tobin, Michelle Tafoya, Mike Tirico. Down here, if you talk to the Magic fans, coaches, writers, players, they say pressure is on Orlando to get this game, and obviously the Pistons are on the brink of elimination, but the question is, who's going to feel more pressure on the floor here tonight?
Well, Detroit will. I mean, it's simple mathematics. They're the ones that are on the verge of elimination. And let's get this straight, every game in the playoffs is the most important game until the next game. Now, I don't know what kind of effort we're getting. I know the way Detroit's played all year. They play tough, they play hard for 48 minutes, so we're going to get the type of effort we saw out of Portland last night, out of New Orleans, or we're going to get clunkers like we saw out of Milwaukee and Indiana. I would expect the former of them to come out here and scratch and claw for everything.
If it's a big pressure game, you need a big game from your best player. Best player on the floor, without question, is Tracy McGrady. He's standing by with Michelle Tafoya. Michelle.
All right, Mike, thanks. Tracy, you guys went up to Detroit, up 3-1 in this series, and everyone sort of admits that you were focused too much on the result, winning and getting out of there, and less focused on the process of executing. How has your mindset changed tonight with another chance to close it out here at home?
Well, we know this series isn't over. Detroit is obviously the best team in this in the Eastern Conference, so we know their back's against the wall right now, and they're going to come out with a great deal of energy. We just got to come out and match that and play better basketball than we played in Game 5.
Now, you have said all along you can't do it alone, and clearly when your teammates step forward on offense in particular, you guys have much more success. What makes you confident they're ready to do it again tonight?
Well, just being home and just having our crowd assisting us tonight. You know, those guys are ready to play. I truly believe that because they feel bad the way they performed in Game 5. So, you know, we talked about it, and they're going to come out here and just play their game, get back to playing Magic basketball.
Tracy, thanks a lot. Good luck.
Thank you. I told you still look good.
How nice of him. Back to you guys.
A fine way to start a great evening. The season is on the line for Detroit, for New Orleans, and for Portland. First, it's the Magic, and the best star you may see all night, Tracy McGrady. He opened the series with 43 and 46. He's been spectacular, but he only had 19 in Game 5. Will the best defense in the league answer the call? We'll find out. The game tips next.
The Magic are back home and ready to roll. Their main man, Tracy McGrady, 32 points a game. Pistons and Magic coming up next. Welcome inside Playoff Central. Kevin Frazier, Greg Anthony, Tracy McGrady. First, he compliments Michelle Tafoya. Then he gets his little groove on. Obviously, he's relaxed and ready to go.
Well, you know, he's flossy, definitely. But more importantly, will his teammates be flossy? That's going to be the big key. Can they get some production from that supporting cast? That's been the difference in this series. When they've played well, the Magic have won. When they've not, Detroit has won. That'll be the key.
Flossy, good.
That's
Will his
right.
teammates be good tonight? Meanwhile, let's check in on the Sixers and Hornets real quick. And can the Sixers close it out on Bourbon Street?
Well, they can, but I don't think they will. I think Jamal Mashburn will be a big difference in this series, and just by his presence on the floor, I think he'll play better tonight because he's been back. He's got that first game under his belt playing with that bum finger. If he can continue to play at a high level, and the way they've been crashing the boards lately in this series, that's not a good formula for the Sixers. Remember, the Sixers are not getting any offensive production from anyone other than Allen Iverson.
Hey, don't forget, this is just the first game of our triple header. the Magic and Pistons. It's followed by the 76ers and Hornets at 9:30 Eastern. Then it's the Mavericks and Blazers. Can the Blazers continue to fight their way back in at 10:30 Eastern? That game on ESPN2, so you have to jump over for the Mavericks and Blazers. But it's just as good on the Deuce. And Rip Hamilton been just as good as advertised so far in the series, averaging 22 points. Everybody else needs to step up.
ESPN's presentation of the NBA playoffs, brought to you by Toyota. Get the feeling. And Bud Light. For the great taste that won't fill you up and never let you down, make it a Bud Light.
The NBA playoffs continue from Orlando. Game 6. Survival for Detroit. Dig in and hold on for Orlando and close it out. Here are the Bud Light starting lineup, same as they've been for the first 5 games of this series. Chauncey Billups 4 from 3. Hamilton must show offense. Curry there defensively for McGrady. Wallace over 20 rebounds the last 3, and Cliff Robinson. Jacques Vaughn must play better defense. Giriček must shoot well for the outside. Rick Carlisle, former Coach of the Year in the NBA in 2001, the year after Doc Rivers was the NBA Coach of the Year. These two match wits and adjustments and all the small little things as the series progresses. Game 5, Rivers' Orlando team lost by 31. One of the worst beatings for a team trying to close out a series, trying to change the momentum tonight. The Detroit Pistons have not won a playoff road game in their last 12 tries. Can they change that tonight? The last time they won a road game, April 27, 1997, 5 years and 5 nights ago. Giriček in Hamilton's face.
Over the Pistons, you could say, we're due.
First foul is a blocking foul. Jim Clark with the call. He joins Monty McCutcheon and Dick Pavetta as the officials here tonight.
Well, you know those things going in. I always find it amusing when athletes say, I wasn't even here when that happened. I don't even know. That's you know those things. You can't win a road game, and you go 12 straight games without winning. You may not know it right off the bat, but when things start going bad, that's when you start saying, man, can we ever win a road game?
We know these Pistons were here for the 2 this year, and they were all essentially here last year except for Tayshaun Prince. Wallace the miss, Giriček the rebound. Only 10 assists for Orlando in the last game and just 24 field goals. We're looking for a nice passing early, and there's Giriček on a move to the hole. Gordan Giriček lost in the first couple of games of this series, broke out with 10 in the 3rd quarter of Game 3.
Well, the Pistons got to make sure they don't let happen what happened to the Pacers last night, and that's the Boston Celtics just came out, random crowd got into it, everybody was rocking and rolling, and never really had a chance.
Giriček is called for the foul, trying to get over the Ben Wallace screen 25 feet away. When we talk about this number, and it is so important, obviously when you take numbers in wins and losses, they're going to be one-sided. But this tells you what those guys were not doing. They were not shooting well at all. And it's up to Armstrong when he comes off the bench, Gooden and Giriček to get going early tonight. Billups missed, Pistons are 0-2. Vaughn with a little extra accelerator tonight. Finds Giriček.
Nice pump fake.
Confidence for Giriček will be huge for Orlando.
Well, it's not so much the points. When you look at that last graphic, it was the shooting percentage. You know, 47% going down to about 27%. When you get those guys playing efficient basketball, and I expect them to play well tonight, being at home, the comfort level's up.
Michael Curry a 3 off the mark and out of bounds. Curry 0 of 2 from behind the arc now in the series.
And it's a nice little pump fake right here. You see Rip Hamilton flying out at him, gets him to about 17 feet, and nice. But the Pistons, boy, 2 of the first 3 shots, you get Curry with a 3 and Ben Wallace with a 16-footer. If you keep doing that all night, this ain't going to be close.
The Magic have gotten off to poor starts in the last 4 games. Hamilton, the good defense. Billups cleaned it up. Chauncey was bothered by a thigh injury earlier in the series. Came right back for a solid 25-point effort in Game 4. Hamilton off the Wallace wall. Pistons have opened 0 of 4 from the field. Giriček feeling it, stroking it. Rebound Wallace. He's had over 20 in his last 3 games. Hamilton turned away. Nice defense by the Magic with DeClerc helping Giriček.
Well, he's got to let that one go.
And Wallace makes his first field goal. You know, Ben Wallace, his rebounds are up over the regular season, but he scored 10 a game as well. DeClerc with a lot of steps on the way in, but he got it to go.
Well, somebody's got to help him out. I know it's his man, but when he's shooting a fadeaway jump shot on the baseline, he's not going to be the first one back. You got to help your big man out there.
Shooting in the early going. Old for the Pistons, who are shooting under 40% in this series. They shot 43 in the regular season. Hamilton tries to make it happen.
On every rebound, they are just firing out.
That was Billups' hand. It looked like his foot the way it deflected, but it was clearly his right hand down by the floor. Orlando's been turning it over just about as much as they did during the regular season, 15 times per game. Billups left free for three. And finally, Chauncey Billups hit a three. 4 of 28 in this series for a guy who shot almost 40% in the regular season.
And that would be big for them if he can hit some threes, open up some stuff. I'd like to see Cliff Robinson, too, get going on the block a little bit.
McGrady, first shot. He certainly called class.
Let me say, if they're playing pool, he'd have to take the cue ball out and put it back.
That's right.
It'd be a scratch.
It's back on the spot. Right? Orlando by 3. Robinson left free. 14-year veteran out of the University of Connecticut misses. And the Magic back the other way. That can make McGrady get going. The three! And the Pistons will call for time. Orlando opens 5 of 7 from the field in the first 5 minutes.
Well, it certainly doesn't take a lot to get this guy going. But when you rise up from the elbow and you bank it in, you say, okay, that's a freebie. Let me show you what I can do. Up, over, you look at the release point. Boy, you can't play much better defense than that. And you can tell, backing up, that is good.
Orlando trying to win a series for the first time in 7 years. Early up 6 in Game 6. Tracy McGrady, 8 of 20 shooting in the last game. Maybe a poor shot. Got a good break and got him going here tonight.
Well, the guy is so tough to guard because he's just so long. And you can play good defense, and he can get off good shots on you. Why? Watch him right here. Curry gets up, and watch how high he gets up off the ground. He's up over the Clerk's knee right there. It doesn't matter. And that's tough. And when he gets it going, you got to run guys at him, because once he takes them off the floor, it's not you defending him. It's basically him defending himself, whether he's going to make or miss.
Michael Curry picked up 3 early fouls in Game 5. Tayshaun Prince came in, did a good job defensively, but Detroit made the physical tone apparent early on. That has not been the case in the first 4:20 here tonight.
Well, they're not getting to the rim. I mean, everything's from the outside. They got to try to get to the rim, get some easy shots.
Hamilton rises up, and Richard Hamilton knocks down his first field goal. Hamilton, Wallace, and Billups scored for Detroit.
Then he basically just said, shut up, Tom.
But he can make that shot.
Absolutely.
One of the few Pistons that can on a regular basis. Giriček hands to McGrady. They're going to switch it. Nope. Curry's going to stay home. Rising up again. DeClerc gets the rebound over Wallace. And Ben comes away with the ball.
A great offensive rebound, just a little quick that time. Take your time, gather yourself, and then go up strong.
You can see Giriček was told to stay right in Hamilton's face. Robinson for 3. Rimmed it out, and Gordan, the Croatian rookie, on the rebound. Traded with Gooden from Memphis. Day before the deadline in mid-February. What a difference it's made. There is Gooden working on Robinson. DeClerc push off in the back, called by Monty McCutcheon. Gordan Giriček, better have his track shoes on tonight.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to have to, he's staying with him too. He's going to stay on his hip, and then right there, just force somebody else to shoot the ball. And interesting, you see right towards the tail end of that play, but Ben Wallace isn't getting offensive rebounds for this team. No one's getting offensive rebounds for this team. And you see right there what he's been able to do at the Palace and on the road, and not so much the points, It's the shooting percentage. He's shooting over 50% at home and struggling here on the road. Whether he gets 20 or 25 or 15, he's going to have to shoot a high percentage tonight.
The foul on DeClerc was his second. Pat Garrity comes in. Robinson's hook is off. McGrady kept that alive, so Garrity could get it, but he threw it out of bounds.
You got to see more of that. I would like to see more of Cliff Robinson on the block because he can score on the block. That was a point-blank look. Didn't get it to go, but don't be dissuaded by that. Don't say, okay, I'm going to go back outside. Try to get some buckets inside and then work your way out.
Robinson shooting 38% in this series on his season average of 12 per game. Gooden has him defensively. Hamilton has no entry. Hamilton with a step. Good recovery by Garrity for help defensively, but Hamilton able to knock down his second field goal.
Well, when you don't have DeClerc in there and you have Garrity coming over to help, he can't get up and deflect the shot. He can't even get up there and affect the shot.
Garrity at 6'9", plays a little shorter than DeClerc. Off the Vaughn miss, the Pistons can tie. Or take the lead with a three, halfway through quarter number one.
Oops.
Billups left free, and Detroit takes the lead. So Chauncey Billups, who in 5 games hit 4 3-pointers, has 2 in the first half of the opening quarter tonight. And the Pistons have scored the last 7. Gooden tries to stop the run. 3 years at Kansas, All-America last year. One of the best rookies in these playoffs so far. Hamilton, nobody stopped the ball, and Grip is trying to, as I said before, run Gordan Giriček out of his black shoes tonight.
Well, good job of pushing up the ball that time. You don't have to take a shot, but push it up until it's available.
Gooden once again, one thing that Gooden has shown as a rookie, he's not afraid of Ben Wallace. He has gone right at Wallace aggressively, especially in the half court offensively.
Look at this.
Billups, Jacques Vaughn didn't stop the ball, and Doc Rivers pleaded with Jacques Vaughn at the shoot-around this morning. No trailing Chauncey. In his face, ball pressure, and they couldn't put the ball pressure on there.
Boy, 4 fast break points. They're off and flying. That could be more than they've had the whole series.
Vaughn is left free. Not going to get the roll, and Billups gets the board.
A good job by Detroit recognizing you're going to leave somebody open. He's the guy you're going to leave open, take the open shot.
Holding foul out high on Jacques Vaughn as Curry was trying to set the screen. Hey, why don't you log on to NBA.com for the exclusive 2003 playoff section. Live post-game press conferences, photo galleries, video highlights, and more. Love it live on NBA.com. Well, speaking of loving it, here's one who is loved here in Orlando as Doc Rivers talks to one-point guard Jacques Vaughn. He brings in Darrell Armstrong, age 34, an undrafted guy who has come to this franchise over the years and brought high energy and solid point guard play. And he's been the difference for Orlando in this series. Not my words, the words of the coach, Doc Rivers. Chauncey Billups has hit 3 threes in the first quarter. That is a huge difference for the Pistons. Detroit on top by 4. Armstrong lost it and put it off the baseline. Here's Michelle Tafoya.
Well, Darrell Armstrong into the game taking on Chauncey Billups in that man-to-man. They really love playing against each other. They say there's no trash talk. It's just classic, good old-fashioned basketball. Chauncey complimented Darrell Armstrong, saying there's no one who plays every single possession as hard as he does, and that's why I consider it a challenge and somewhat of a privilege to play against this guy. It should be a fun matchup, guys.
Billups trying to put the challenge over Armstrong. Drew Gooden with a little anger against the board. Orlando's turned it over 4 times in the first quarter. Detroit's taking care of it. Nice
great
kick.
ball movement.
To Garrity. This is the 3, and Wallace goes up to Garrett. Garrity is being bothered by a bruised pelvis, and his shot just has not been the same in this series. 4 of 19 from the field. Hurry around McGrady to Wallace. McGrady picks up the foul.
Well, that was nice attacking right there and trying to get the ball to the rim, but if Garrity's not able to hit those open shots, then really he becomes expendable because you can't have him out there in the court because of defensive reasons.
The Magic stop it here for time as Garrity's offensive struggles continue in this series. Drew Gooden gave him a little surge, but Detroit has bounced back to take a 4-point lead here in quarter 1 of Game 6. The Detroit Pistons started 3 of 11. They've hit 5 of their last 6, trying to force a Game 7 back at the Palace of Auburn Hills on Sunday. Detroit leads Orlando 19-15. It's the way these series games have gone, especially since game one, Tom. In the last 4 games, the Pistons have enjoyed a huge first quarter edge. If you take out the Orlando 5-point lead in game one, the numbers flop even more. The reason Orlando's won more games is they've played better second quarters. But I think it's important tonight for Orlando to not let one of these 10-point leads at the first quarter happen. Then I think that momentum we talked about really starts to gain for Detroit, and there's a lot of pressure on a young team that has not been to the second round often.
Absolutely, and one of the reasons they get off to this start is because the guy right there, Chauncey Billups, has hit 3 threes. One, he just bogarted Jacques Vaughn, knocked him to the ground and hit the 3, and that seemed to get him going for the rest of the quarter. But if they can get him up in the mid-20s, they stand a real good chance of winning this basketball game.
Michelle Tafoya?
Well, Doc Rivers said in that last huddle, Mike, he said, you guys are settling for shots that they're giving you early in the shot clock. Just because they give you a shot doesn't mean you have to take it. You're turning into a one-pass, shoot the ball, and Tracy McGrady's not taking enough of those shots, but he wants them to pass it more, even passing up some wide-open shots to use a little more clock, get into the rhythm of their offense. He said, play free and play smart, guys.
McGrady rises up over Wallace and knocks it down. On the other end, Wallace, a 45% shooter, hit both of his free throws. Tayshaun Prince, and we'll undoubtedly see him off Rick Carlisle's bench at some point. The first-round draft pick of the Pistons played some very solid minutes in the Game 5 win. Billups for a 4th three-pointer of the quarter. So 4 all series, and he makes 4 here in the first 9:20 tonight.
And looks good doing it. Looks confident. It's amazing what a couple shots will do for you. You hit your first couple shots, and all of a sudden you're just feeling great. You can tell it looks great.
Boy, Wallace out defensively. McGrady tried to take advantage of him, but threw it away out of bounds.
And you watch Billups right here, just going to come off the screen. I think that was Cliff that came up there, and Gooden couldn't get out quick enough, and it's no hesitation. It's off the screen. I'm open. Let it fly.
And once the jumper opens, now the drive to the basket becomes a little bit easier. The bounce for Ben. Ben Wallace off the mark, and Gooden cleans the glass for Orlando.
And a good job at defensive transition by Detroit. If they don't get the rebound, let's get back and not give up easy buckets.
Michael Curry out high, had a hand on McGrady, and president of the NBA Players Association picks up the foul. That's the first foul on the Pistons. That's why the Thunder stick slapping from the Magic fans.
An interesting lineup in here right now for the Magic. You got Whitney and Armstrong.
Billups foul. His first, second on the team. Orlando has 5.
And Garrity's too big for him down there on the block.
Well, a reminder, this is the first of 3 games tonight on ESPN and ESPN2. Game 6, Philadelphia, New Orleans. Coming up right after us. Sixers try to close it out. Mashburn coming back with a broken finger in Game 5 to win on the road in Philly. Brett Musburger, Sean Elliott, Sal Masakela standing by in New Orleans. And they're on as soon as we're done tonight. Armstrong at 2.
And he's the key for me. If he can be aggressive and get you double digits, they've done wonders this series when he's been able to be aggressive. Now down here, this will be interesting to see who's going to guard Richard Hamilton. You bring in Whitney, or if you just try to play a little bit of his own.
Whitney hounding the ball with Billups, but the Piston guards get a size edge.
Yeah.
It's Gooden watching Hamilton.
That's tough.
And Hamilton takes advantage from the top of the key.
Well, he's going to have an advantage over Gooden because of his quickness. He'll have an advantage over Whitney because of his size. And with this lineup in here, we'll see if Hamilton can take advantage.
Garrity had Billups on a matchup problem there. Wallace and Gooden go down, and Gooden's going to get called for the foul. Going on Drew. Tough couple of trips there for the rookie out of Kansas.
And this is a matchup right here. I mean, Gooden's going to do a decent job. He's going to deny him out there. But then right here, off the dribble, just not the lateral quickness to be able to stay with him. Hamilton just jukes him, backs him up, and gets the space he needs to get off a jump shot.
A couple of subs in the game. Sean Kemp comes in for Orlando. They can't live with this lineup too small. And Mehmet Okur, the rookie from Turkey, comes in the game. And Okur is standing next to Tracy McGrady on the free throw line. And a little bit of a playoff flair between those two. Okur hit some threes and dunked at the end of the game at the Palace of Auburn Hills. And Tracy McGrady said, as Wallace rims out at first, said, hey, I've got no problem with that because we weren't playing good enough defense to shut him down. But then walking off the floor, Okur was staring me down. Like, hey, Tracy said, act like you won before. We didn't do that when we won. He was surprised to see that. And McGrady said, when on the floor, it'll be a little bit added motivation with Okur.
Yeah, I'm sure McGrady said, who the hell is Mehmet Okur? Who are you?
One of two players from Turkey in the NBA. Hito Turkoglu is the other. Shawn Kemp comes across the lane. He's been invisible in this series, averaging only 3 points per game. Hard to say Shawn Kemp, at 280 pounds, is invisible, but he has not been a force thus far in the first 5 games. Magic going for the clincher. Pistons looking to force Game 7 at the Palace. A blocking foul is called on Darrell Armstrong.
Chauncey Billups right now is just looking to try to make something happen every single time he touches the ball. And usually, I mean, either make something happen for yourself or somebody else. Right now, he's looking for himself.
Chauncey, 9th best free throw shooter in the NBA this year at 88%. Missed one, and the Pistons are now 2 of 5 from the line.
What is that?
That is a bad look.
Wow. He reminds me of the guy in Every Which Way But Loose, that orangutan with Clint Eastwood. Clyde. Left turn, Clyde.
Only you would remember Clyde's name. You know, you think somebody's going to mention Clyde tonight, it would be Walt Frazier. Garrity missed the 3, and Billups comes away with the board. A 2.5 difference, game and shot clock. Back into the opening quarter here in Orlando.
I'd have Wallace come up and set me a pick and roll if I were Chauncey Billups. See if I could squeeze off one more 3 before the quarter ends.
Detroit guards have gotten it done here in the opening quarter. Trying to close it out. See if they can find Hamilton off the screen or Billups for his 5th three-pointer of the quarter. Whoa, Chauncey, where'd this come from? McGrady sees the clock, will try to beat it from 43. Missed it. Well, the team from the Palace has the Palace guards playing very well in a step-up game tonight. Billups with 18, and Hamilton has 8 of those 12, so the guards have 26 of the Piston 30 in the opening quarter. Meantime, Tracy McGrady, 3rd in the NBA playoff scoring, has 7 after 1. Once again, the Pistons control the first quarter. They lead by 9, trying to stave off elimination. Well, Chauncey Billups, who was a pace setter for this Detroit team offensively this year, really set a tone in the opening quarter of a must-win game. More three-pointers than he had in all 5 prior games in this series.
Well, he gets it started with the pick and roll right there. And that got him going. Then a little bit of an opening right there. And then this one, you know you got it going on when a guy just right in your mug, raise up over him, and good. And you know what? Not only does that change the complexion of the game for the Pistons, now if you're the Magic, defensively, what do? Do you start trapping the pick and roll? Do you got to change your philosophy a little bit? Or do you just say, look, he's 5 for 5, we're only down 9. Let's go ahead and stick with what we've been doing and make him shoot 10 for 11 from three-point line.
Billups and Hamilton remain in with Ben Wallace, Memo Okur, and Tayshaun Prince, the rookie out of Kentucky, guarding McGrady because of his length. You saw it there. McGrady had to change his shot and couldn't spin in a spectacular putback, but he got fouled by Prince. Wow. Here's Michelle Tapoy.
You guys were talking about what they should do to guard Chauncey Billups. In the huddle, first they told Darrell Armstrong the only reason he's shooting over you is because you're jumping. You have to stay right up in him. But then Doc Rivers said, hey, Chauncey Billups is hot. So what? He's going to make his shots. Stay up in him, but you guys have to focus on your game, and you've got to drive to the basket more. So a couple of messages. Armstrong, stay up in him. Don't jump. Don't be faked by Chauncey to jump. But also try to ignore the fact that he's hot, guys.
Hard to do.
Well, you can't as a coach after 1 quarter throw away your whole game plan. You know, sometimes guys just hit shots, and you have to accept the fact that if he's going to make, 9, 10, 11 three-pointers, you might lose the game.
Armstrong trying to answer the call. Tough shot there.
Good D.
Yep, sure was. Shawn Kemp comes away with the board with Whitney, Armstrong, McGrady, and Garrity, the 5 on the floor for the Magic. Hamilton the foul. 2 team fouls in the first half minute of this quarter on the Pistons. First on Rick.
Those are the type of fouls you'd rather not pick up. Something away from the bucket, 18 feet away. Yeah, kind of a cheap little foul. And you don't think much of it, but then maybe in the fourth quarter, you pick up your fifth and you think back, dang.
Or it gets them on the line quicker in the second quarter when they go on 8. Wallace to help defensively. That leaves the glass free, but Kemp couldn't squeeze it, and Prince comes away with it.
I like the fact that the Pistons are looking to push the ball. Not necessarily taking quick shots, but let's go ahead and explore and see what we have.
Chauncey finds Wallace. Wallace, who came down gingerly with no weight on that left foot, and during the second quarter break, they were looking at Ben's left knee, and an MCL sprain missed the last 7 games of the regular season. Shawn Kemp, an outside shot. And Prince on the glass.
I don't think the shots right now they're getting are the shots that Coach Rivers wants them to take.
Well, Core can hit that. That's why they had to react to it. Prince goes to the cup. Kemp presented himself defensively. 9 to shoot. Hamilton a 3. Garrity to the ground. Okur with the ball. No whistle.
Well, Garrity just can't get any elevation. He must have got up a good 4 inches. I mean, it's not like Okur jumped over him. He just happened to be up a couple inches higher.
It's still better, but he's dragging around that right leg from the pelvis injury. Prince, who shot a lot of threes but couldn't make them, as McGrady in his face. This is when the Pistons get in trouble. But Hamilton bails him out with a fadeaway deuce.
Well, I'm just turning around and shoot over with him. He's 4 inches smaller. That's a good look. You're going to turn around and not have a hand in your face.
Garrity left free for 3. He shot way off. Great hustle by Armstrong to keep this possession alive. This is one they need. Turn it around with a 3. Whitney can't get it. Out of bounds. Off Wallace. Orlando ball. Third game of our 3 comes up on ESPN2 at 10:30 Eastern. Brad Nessler, Bill Walton, David Aldridge in Portland for the Blazers Mavericks. Portland trying to do the unthinkable, come back from a 3-0 deficit. Never mind the fact that trying to win the series, only 3 teams out of 68 down 3-0, or 2 teams, I should say, have forced a Game 7. They would be the 3rd team ever to be down 3-0 and force a Game 7.
Well, on that one, it'll be interesting to see what kind of game Steve Nash has. He just has been off the mark the last couple of games. Now, he did have 11 assists last game, so he's still creating for his teammates. But when he's got it going, he's going to give you 17 to go along with those assists. And right now, the Magic need to find somebody other. They're just force-feeding Tracy McGrady. Someone's got to help him and pick up the slack right here.
Prince has 2 fouls. Gooden presents himself. Wallace's timing is so good. He was able to stay in the air long enough to keep that alive. Billups on the take, was fouled on the pass, not on the shot. So Piston ball out of bounds.
I'm sorry, Mike, go ahead.
The Detroit Pistons in a must game. What must you do on the road? Not give them easy ones? Look at that. They have not turned the ball over here in the first 14 and a half tonight.
Yeah, a key stat always is you look at the end of the game, who has more field goal attempts. And how do you get more field goal attempts? You turn the ball over fewer times. You get a few more steals. You get some... Whoa.
So much for the no turnover. Armstrong all the way. Couldn't get it. Hit on the rebound. Fouled by Okur. Shawn Kemp and Okur with some incidental contact.
I always love when the guys have their arms raised. You know, let me tell you something. When the guy has his arm raised, he just did something. Okay, because they do it and then they raise their hand.
Right.
They like get one of these. Like if we're under there and we're battling for a rebound, like I'll give you one of these and then I'll go like this. And I'll be like, hey,
not me.
I don't know what you're talking about. It wasn't me. Or they'll give you one of these too. Like get out.
Sounds like you did that a few times in your career.
Absolutely. You give it to him, raise it. I couldn't have done anything. I don't know what you're talking about.
Okur picked up the foul. Team fouls, by the way, now 4-1. Pistons have committed 4, kind of the reverse of what we saw in the opening quarter. Billups will come get a break on the bench. And Chucky Atkins comes in for Detroit.
Well, I know guys, I guess, need to take a blow sometime. When a guy's that hot, just ride him until maybe he misses a couple shots. You know, it's 48 minutes. These guys are young. They can handle it, but I know you have your rotations. You want to get Chucky Atkins in the game as well, but man, it's hard to sit a guy that's on fire like he is.
Chucky, who did nothing, 14 minutes, 0 for 5 from the field in Game 5. Tayshaun Prince has a good-looking shot. A rookie who spent 4 years at Kentucky, and Rick Carlisle says, I have confidence in him because at 22, he's an experienced rookie. You don't get that much often in the NBA these days.
You guys have the wingspan of an albatross.
7'3". McGrady goes up 10 feet and puts it down.
Get the crowd back into it a little bit. That's the first time we hit the thunder sticks clapping in about 3 or 4 minutes.
Hamilton watched by McGrady. Tough shot. Rip got it back on the handoff from Okur. So Hamilton, he never stops. He's always running, and when he's running and free, he's so much better. 6 of 10 from the field here in the first half. Prince's third foul. So Tayshaun's come in here at the start of the quarter, and in 4 minutes picked up 3 fouls, guarding McGrady. Trying to slow him down. McGrady, who went for 43 and 46 in the first 2 games, but has shot only 42% from the field in the last 3 games, and now has to see Prince show up offensively as well. But Tayshaun will be on the bench with 3 fouls when we come back. Pistons by a dozen in a must-win Game 6. Here in Orlando, Detroit trying to maintain an advantage that was 9 after the first. They lead by 12 now as both teams get into their bench, and the officials cognizant of that as well.
Just like we talked about earlier today, tempo changes. There's a lot of non-starters in there. Let's stay right with the tempo changes. We okay with that, guys? I'm older, so I'll walk.
Dick Pavetta in his 28th year as an NBA official with Jim Clark and Monty McCutcheon here tonight. But that's a good point, because as the subs come in, their job off the bench is what? Energy.
Be physical. Get in there and bang a little bit. And if you're a guy, I mean, our guy came off the bench. Come off the bench, you don't mind giving up a few fouls, being tough, trying to change the tempo, trying to get the crowd into the game, and doing that, you're going to be a little more physical.
McGrady comes to the line. Tracy will get 1 more, 2 of 3 from the line. 11 points tonight. We're talking about the bench. Tayshaun Prince now back on it with 3 fouls, but he's part of the reason that the Piston bench played well in the last game. They had not played well thus far in this series, and were the best benches you saw in the regular season. John Barry, who we have yet to see tonight, gave this bench the nickname the Alternators a couple of years ago, playing off the Pistons Motor City theme. The Alternators were not firing at all early on, but outscored the Orlando bench quite well in Game 5, 36-20. Hamilton off the curve. Wallace went up to get it. Gooden with 2 hands, got it from Ben.
Gooden's running right down the middle. Nice job.
Ben was complaining about the foul. Sean Kemp has it.
I think he wants to fire this thing.
He showed good restraint, but Reap posted himself. 5 to shoot. Goes baseline on Wallace.
Oh, good D. Good recovery.
Nice sequence both sides defensively from Gooden and Wallace. Robinson's blocked by Gooden. Drew Gooden, a block to go with his 5 boards, and he has really shown up tonight. Contact out high. Robinson plowing over Armstrong. Will pick up the foul. Pistons over the limit.
Oh, Drew Gooden, nice job beating him baseline, but Ben Wallace doesn't give up on the play. Jeez. Take a bigger swipe at that thing, why don't you? And then Gooden says, all right, I'm going to give me one. Give me that thing. And going back the other way. Hey, I'm going to tell you something. You look at Drew Gooden, and there's Ben Wallace and Gordan Giriček. They got that trade. And what they've been able to do this year, you wait 3 years down the line. When Gooden gets a little better, Giriček's a little better, McGrady's still one of the best players in the NBA, it's going to be a very good basketball team down there. And if Grant Hill could ever make it back.
2 for Armstrong, an 8-point game. Now, we talked about the early foul trouble in the quarter. Orlando will be in the bonus for the balance of these 7 minutes. Good pressure here, forcing it out of Atkins' hands. And they want that. Wallace handling it. Atkins, Hamilton, Okur, Robinson, and Wallace. Hamilton missed his last 2. Sean Kemp the rebound. More minutes for Sean Kemp here to match the size of Okur. In rhythm triple from McGrady. and Okur goes up to get him.
He does it so quick. I mean, he's just right in rhythm, boom. As soon as he gets within about 24 feet, you got to be cognizant of the fact that he can rise up at any time.
Orlando struggling from the field, approaching 30% for the last game and a half now. They're 1 of 8 from behind the arc as well. If they hit a few, they'll get some rhythm. Okur going to the cup and is fouled by Shawn Kemp. So a nice move by the 7-foot rookie who the Pistons took in the second round of the 2001 draft. And Billups and Barry will come in for Hamilton and Atkins. Chucky didn't give Detroit anything. It's a short stay on the bench for Chauncey.
You wonder, it's always a little dicey when some guy's hot and if he can come back and keep the same rhythm that he had before he went to the bench. Well, he can just keep half the rhythm he had before he went to the bench. He'll be just fine.
The Pistons have missed on 4 of their 7 free throws. Mehmet Okur coming off 9 and 11 in his last couple of ball games after scoring just 2 points. As you see in the first 3, it's a guy who was on the Turkish national team, 5-year pro career, played in the European Championships in 2001, has a nice touch, a 73% shooter from the line on the season, and he's now 2 of 6 in this series. Or free throw shooting by Detroit thus far, but they lead by 8. Halfway through second quarter, game 6. Orlando looking for the clincher, and McGrady trying to lead them there. 14 for Tracy, 9 or 7, I should say, here in the second.
Well, I was getting ready to say, well, that's a tough matchup for John Barry. That's a tough matchup for anybody in the NBA. Doesn't matter who it is. We talked about this guy when he gets in his spot and is able to get to where he wants to get. He's just going to flat out jump over you. And down there on the block, John Barry did a nice job trying to bump him right here, get into him a little bit, get into him. I mean, that's a good job. You're looking at about a 17-foot shot right now. That's a fadeaway. You'll live with that one.
He's not only giving away 3 inches, he's also giving the high rising quick ability we showed earlier from McGrady. Tracy has 14 of the Magic 32. Detroit leads by 6. 5:50 left before halftime.
ESPN's presentation of the NBA playoffs, brought to you by NBA Street Volume 2 from EA Sports. Big. And KFC. There's fast food, then there's KFC.
With Michelle Tafoya and Tom Tolbert, Mike Tirico, TD Waterhouse Centre in Orlando. Game 6, the Magic trailing by 6. They've shot 2 of 11 in this quarter, but have trimmed 3 points off the deficit because of Tracy McGrady's play.
Well, this guy just can score from everywhere. I mean, you watch what he does. He rises up right in your face. You're playing good defense, take you to the rim, jump over you. Even Ben Wallace said, I'm not going to mess with that. And then the fadeaway over John Barry, and you're going to be able to live with shots like that. But I'll tell you what, when you look at the numbers there, guys that have been guarding McGrady, McGrady has no assists right now. He averaged in the wins 6 assists per game in the Magic wins. He's going to not only have to find a way to get himself going, but get easier shots for his teammates and get up there in the assist column.
Out of the timeout, Pistons trying to ride the hot hand of Billups. So good in the opening quarter. Missed there. 3 white shirts shroud the glass. Orlando can get it to 4-3 on this trip.
We see it all the time. The teams that generally don't score a lot, they come up with a big quarter and have trouble following it up with another big quarter. Well, 30 in the first, only 8 here in the second.
Barry recovered with a good hand. They'll call foul or a tie-up. Jim Clark on the outside has a tie-up, and it will be a jump ball. Fans wanted the foul, so did Doc Rivers. Clark had the clear look at the ball. Ravenna was going to call the foul from behind. But good teamwork there.
I think Doc Rivers is saying, hey, unless they're dancing, that's a foul.
I think you're right. It was a foul. But again, McGrady had Barry on the matchup. And Barry's trapped himself in the corner. Gets it to Chauncey, who is pushed and fouled by Armstrong. There's 2 on Armstrong, and the 3rd team foul of the quarter on Orlando. Philadelphia, New Orleans is coming up next. Game 6 From the arena right next to the Superdome, Brett Musburger, Sean Elliott, Sal Masekela, while Allen Iverson, who had 55 in Game 1, but has not been able to have a huge game since, trying to go for the closeout and avoid a Game 7 back in Philly on Sunday.
Our guy Sal Masekela in New Orleans, that could be dangerous. That could be dangerous. Easy, Sal.
Robinson on the pass-off is fouled, and a technical foul is called on Orlando. On McGrady for throwing the ball in disgust after that third foul in about 30 seconds. The personal was called on Shawn Kemp. And the T on TMac. So Billups makes the technical. Here's the whole situation.
Watch this. Yeah, I mean, Kemp's moving. Robinson, to give credit, he jumped into him, and it's hard to accept that one, especially the previous play. You feel like your guy got fouled. Tracy feels like he got fouled. And he's just saying, come on, call it even. If you're going to give that one to him, then I deserve the one down there. But now you got to be careful. Now you can't pop up to the officials. Now you can't get a double technical. And he would have to do something pretty heinous, I believe, the rest of the game to get kicked out.
Robinson now shoots the fouls from the call on Kemp. And one more coming for Cliff. 67% shooter. Boy, Detroit's been hideous at the line tonight. 4 of 10 for the Pistons. A 77% shooting team, regular and postseason. Now 5 of 11. The lead is 8. Detroit trying to win a road playoff game for the first time in 5 years and 5 days and do something they've never done. Win game in 5 and 6 to force a Game 7. McGrady fouled on the outside. Foul number 30, Clifford Robinson.
And that's a strain he puts on you defensively. When you know a guy like that can rise up and hit shots, you want to keep Tayshaun Prince standing there with 3 fouls on the bench. You want to be close enough to where you can rise up and challenge him, but you know he can go by. It's just hard. I mean, this guy is one of the top couple players in the NBA. So you want to get out there. You know he can rise up. Then he can also go by. A little bit of a touch foul, but it doesn't look like much, but you still impede his progress from going by you.
But, Tom, there's a fine line here. McGrady can carry these guys by scoring 40-plus. It doesn't give them their best chance to win. It's a very fine line of scoring 30-ish and involving everyone else. And right now, they're not on the good side of that line.
No, absolutely.
Even though it is within 6, McGrady scored 8 of the last, Orlando 10. That's a blocking foul on Gooden. Drew was moving on that one and picks it up. His second. Now both teams in the penalty, so Orlando had 3 minutes by itself in the penalty before Orlando got some quick whistles.
Well, it's just not a foul that you want to commit 25 feet away from the bucket. And you're going to see trying to get over the pick and roll. Gooden's going to step out and just, there's no reason for that. Just go ahead and let him go, slide along with him and get your hands up so he doesn't shoot it. But if you're moving, and then you're sliding a different direction, you're going to get that foul.
Andrew DeClerc checks in for Shawn Kemp. Best sequence of minutes for Kemp thus far here in the series. With free throws made by Barry, a very good shooter. And Detroit's back to an 8-point lead. No count. Back to the starting 5, except for that man, Armstrong, in instead of Jacques Vaughn at the point. McGrady rising up. Rebound, Gooden inside. Well, Michael Curry's defense was blanketing. Didn't give McGrady a good look, but Gooden gets the cleanup. Barry got a step. Nice find for Wallace. John Barry, 10 points in each of the last 2 games, Tom.
Orlando's getting a dangerous situation where they're giving the ball to Tracy to stand around and watch it.
They're getting closer,
yeah,
but I don't think it's the way they can do it for another 2.5 quarters. You never know. He could have a 50 in him. He's got 16 now. Barry chasing, got to it. We'll change McGrady's points, 18 of the Orlando 38, nearly half right now. Armstrong bumped by Robinson. Billups got all the way, blocking foul, the 3rd on DeClerc. And this building erupting with every whistle.
Well, it's hard to tell if DeClerc was inside the half circle underneath the basket. If he was, then you're not going to get that foul.
Got to be careful, too. It's a young team. You can't start playing against the officials. The Pistons are tough enough to play against. Even though the whistles aren't going your way right now, Orlando's got to be very careful.
And I'm not sure where his feet were. It looked like he may have been sliding anyway, so it wouldn't have mattered. But I know if you're Orlando right now, you feel like everything's going against you. You just got to say, that's okay.
You got to remember that other than Darrell Armstrong, Sean Kemp, and Jacques Vaughn, nobody in this Orlando series or team has won a series. These guys don't know how to close it out. They're trying to figure it out on the fly here the last couple of games. They've certainly got a lesson of what a closeout game was like in Auburn Hills. Billups has 21, Pistons by 8 as we approach 3:20 left before halftime. McGrady on Curry, the matchup to start the game. Robinson came over to help, and the foul is called. On Curry, his second.
Number 12, Michael Curry.
Doesn't look like anybody's real happy with the Pistons right now.
Game 6. And a technical foul called on John Barry. Dick Pavetta will wave him all the way. Barry, who's wearing on his sleeve guy to begin with, picks up the tee, much like McGrady did a moment ago, and Armstrong slices one off the advantage. And Hamilton will come get JB.
Tracy McGrady shooting 2.
McGrady at the line for 2. Free throw attempts 7 and 8 on the night for TMac.
Well, they got to find a way. And you get into a situation, you look right there, 4-4-4-2, and McGrady was going on 20. You get to a situation where the role players think, well, let's just get to our best player every single time and let him do it. And you got to find a way to stay aggressive and keep your own game flowing, while in the process, keeping McGrady into it.
Woo! Nice dribble by Billups to Curry. Didn't want to shoot. Robinson will stroke 3. And a foul on the Magic. It's the 14th foul called on Orlando, 10th on Detroit. Oh, you got to beat everybody. Huge wall to climb. Round 2 is waiting on the other side, though.
Coming up in moments on the ATT Halftime Report, I'll be joined by Greg Anthony. As always, we'll have more on John Stockton's retirement. We'll also be joined by Paul Silas, the coach of the Hornets. Hornets preparing to take on the Sixers in Game 2. Should be a great game.
Oh, will be a great game. And expect Mashburn to have a big game for this team tonight.
Like your psychic. Speaking of Jamal Mashburn, there he is getting set for the game. Bad finger and all. He's still averaging 21 points a game in this series.
Kevin and Greg, see you momentarily. Here, Detroit leads by 5. It is a busy weekend. No games tomorrow, but on the NBA calendar, look ahead to the national television games as the playoffs continue. We'll be somewhere on Sunday. Game 7 of one of the 3 remaining first-round series, or Game 1 of a conference semifinal on ABC. And then TNT gets round 2 going with Boston, New Jersey, and the Lakers, San Antonio. Remember, San Antonio swept LA the season series, but have been eliminated by the Lakers the last 2 years. Here's Michelle.
Guys, let me tell you what Doc Rivers just said in the huddle. He said, listen, you're not getting any calls, and look at the scoreboard. He pointed up. It's a 5-point game, and we haven't gotten any calls. But the refs can't stop you, and the Pistons can't stop you if you attack the basket every time. I want you to attack the basket every time. And then he emphasized, nothing is going to stop us from winning this game. Guys?
Ben Wallace back at the line. A 4 free throw shooter as mentioned. Now 2 of 5 here on the night. So Doc's done a great job with this team when you consider 3 of the 12 players who play for Orlando. Ben missed them both. 3 of the Orlando 12 were not on this roster as of Valentine's Day. And in 2.5 months, they've come to a team that could eliminate the top seed in the East. McGrady spins and turns. Wallace, the rebound.
I need to find a way to get Giriček back in the game. He had a couple buckets early on, and it's been very, very quiet. Has done nothing since then. I believe 3 shot attempts, all that guy has. Need to give him some more looks at the bucket.
Hamilton comes off a screen, sliding through the lane. Hamilton got his own rebound to keep the possession alive. And Billups will come out and reset it as we come close to 2 minutes. Giriček trying to deny Hamilton, and he fouled him. One thing that... Oh, it's on Rip. Beg your pardon, it's on Hamilton. It's an infighting going there with Giriček and Hamilton on the baseline. Hamilton loves to run the baseline to come out top. And Giriček's trying to deny him, and that time the foul was called on Hamilton. Second turnover for the Pistons here tonight.
Yeah, when's the last time you saw anybody other than a center get called for a 3-second violation?
McGrady out high, let it fly. You think I'm wrong? I think they're worse in this situation. He can't carry them in this manner.
Yeah, well, you start getting into a situation, like I said, where you expect him to take every shot. He's going to shoot it if you give it to him. You got to not give it to him a couple times down the court.
That's going the other way on Hamilton. The 3-second violation on Rip, then the offensive foul, his second.
Run a pick and roll with Giriček and Armstrong, or get Garrity in there right there, and you're going to see the offensive foul right there. Just bringing the elbow up. But don't just give Tracy a break on this play. Run it. Oh, shoot. The blow to the back of the head will always get you an offensive foul.
And it's called on Sean Kemp.
You can't extend the arms. You got to use the buttocks down there. You got to use the hips. You got to move into guys and keep your arms up in the air. Once you extend those elbows, it's easy to see. Forget about it.
Sounds like an aerobics video. You have to use the buttocks. You have to use the hips. See if we can have a trip without a whistle. Billups, tough shot. Rebound by McGrady. Hasn't gone Orlando's way, but they are going to be right in it at the break. McGrady met defensively, and a foul called on Detroit as Tracy took the worst of that.
He said, I'm all right.
Cliff Robinson foul is third. 3 on Robinson and Tayshaun Prince.
Well, he was trying to create something. He saw Garrity open the corner, and he was going to give it to him right there. And then he just got whacked by Cliff Robinson on the ground there for a minute. A little bit of pain. He looked up and said, am I going to the free throw line? I'm all right. And then you see the 15 shots right there is what's a little bit alarming. Because you don't want to get into a situation where you got your guy taking 30, 35 shots. And I'm not saying they can't win if he goes off. They can. But it's more dangerous if you get guys just standing around watching. Because I'll tell you what, if he keeps taking all these shots at the end of the game, I'll double him and take him out of the game, make somebody else who hasn't taken a shot in a quarter and a half try to beat me.
Gerald Sasser comes in, as he has for a couple of minutes at the end of the half in each game, usually the first half, just for some defense. McGrady has 22 of the Orlando 43, once down by double digits. They trailed by 12 at one point. The Magic within 3 as we get to the final minute of half number 1. Billups lost Sasser. Curry left free. That is a 2, which is good with a foul. Double checking to make sure it was a 2 or 3. It was a 2. And Stephen Hunter, who came in off the bench, the second-year man at DePaul, picked up a silly foul. Hunter was chastised for his poor play at the end of game 5.
You see right there, just flying out at him, hitting him with the hip. And got the toe just on the line. Ouch. Easy. You're going to talk about some concentration right there. Get knocked back into the standard over there and say, yeah, it's okay. Tell you what, nothing lessens the pain like a made bucket.
Curry is now 22 points in this series. Here's a guy who plays 22 minutes a game. Hard to believe that you can have a 3-man who is so offensively challenged, yet stays in the starting rotation. He started all 77 games he played in this year. And it was thrown away by Hunter, so Stephen Hunter has had a disastrous couple of seconds here to go with the bad end of game 5. And Doc Rivers, with a young player on the floor in a clutch spot, could cost him 3 or 4 points here.
And one possession or two could ultimately decide games like this. Well, that is not a good feeling right there. That's a long jog back to the bench.
And Pat Burke, one of 5 rookies playing in this series, comes in. 12 rookies have scored in the NBA playoffs, 5 of them in this series. Okur and Prince for Detroit. Giriček, Gooden, and Burke for Orlando. Chauncey Billups hits another 3. He hit 5 in the first half, now 6 for the game. Detroit back up 9 here in the final minute.
That's a joke right there, man. Are you kidding me?
Burke inside, nice hoop by the only player born in Ireland to play in the NBA.
2 for 1 if they want it.
14 the difference, game and shot. You know Billups wants it. He got fouled.
Now you want to know when you're feeling it? When you just do a little shake at about 24 feet away, guy in your face, rise up and say, mouth.
What do you say?
Mouth.
Mouth?
Mouth. Not mouth, like Ralph Mouth. Mouth. Like in your mouth. Shoot it in your mouth. That's like an old time.
I'm so glad you cleared that up for me, Tom.
You never said that? Well, I mean, you don't make that many probably. But I mean, next time you make one, just yell at somebody and they'll go mouth. Right in your, you don't say right in your, just mouth.
I'm not even looking at you. Chauncey has 25 here, now 26, more than he's had in any individual game in this series. Magic had it down to 3. It's back up to 9 with 27.4 to go. Doc will take the 20. You can't take with you to the second half.
Well, a big minute, last minute 19 for the Pistons. So the Magic weren't playing great, but they managed to creep their way back into the game, and you're down 3. Now you hit a 3, you get to the free throw line, you push this thing back up 9, and if you miss here, there's still enough time to get another shot. So now, instead of being down 3, you could be down double digits heading into halftime. That's big for the Pistons, the last minute of this quarter.
The Detroit Pistons are the 1 seed for the first time since 1990 when they won back-to-back titles. And one of the key contributors there, a 10-point-a-game scorer on that second title team. The microwave out of Baylor, Vinnie Johnson, who comes to a Pistons game not too often, but here to see this crucial Game 6. What a career he had. 10 years, averaged 14 a game with the Pistons.
Impossible shot to block, too. The way he would lean in and shoot it behind his head, you just couldn't block it.
Pistons have made a lot of history. They're trying to make some more. Never in the franchise history have they won Game 5 and Game 6 to force a Game 7. A microwave-like first quarter for Chauncey Billups. And McGrady has that ability as well. Asking for the screen from Garrity. Okur on the switch. Shot clock violation. So Detroit does a nice job switching their big men on McGrady.
Well, they stepped over, and you know to do that when it gets down to 4 or 5 seconds. You might as well just start scrambling and switching and make them kick back out or run the shot clock. And if they can make a bucket here, even if they don't, I mean, what a disastrous last minute of the quarter for the Orlando Magic, and a big boost for the Pistons heading into halftime.
John Barry came in. So did Atkins. With Billups and Okur, they took Ben Wallace off the floor.
Not going to do it again, is he?
Billups taking, missing as we get to the first half. Well, as it was in games 1 and 2, it's McGrady and the rest of the guys. But Tracy has missed 9 field goals in this first half, and Detroit maintained that edge they had at the first half. They led by 9 after 1. They lead by 9 after 2, trying to win Game 5 and 6 and force a 7th game. And a great half from Chauncey Billups, who's with Michelle Tafoya.
All right, Mike, thanks very much. 6 threes in the first half, and that ties a Pistons playoff record, Clifford Robinson's record. You said that your threes have been flat-footed because of the injury to the thigh. What changed tonight?
Well, my thigh's feeling a lot better, so I'm able to get a little elevation on my shot, and that's what I need to stick it on. Earlier in the games, I was just trying to, because of my strength, I was just trying to wing it in there, but I got a little more legs today, and, you know, fortunately, they're going down for me.
The other team has some legs, too. You guys have had some leads. They keep chipping away. So what is absolutely crucial to winning this game and sending it back to Detroit?
We got to stay aggressive. We got to stay aggressive. We got to play to win, and that's the bottom line. I mean, this team's going to fight back. They got a lot of pride there at home. This crowd is crazy in here today. And we just got to play aggressive. Just keep playing aggressive, continue to play aggressive. The refs are calling it tight, and that's what we want.
All right, Chauncey, thanks. Good luck.
Thank you.
Let's send it back to you.
He was traded here, Michelle, but never played for Orlando. Traded 4 times on 6 teams in 6 years. He's found a home and a leader in Detroit. Chauncey Billups, 26 in the first half. The AT&T halftime report, Kevin Frazier, Greg Anthony, joined by New Orleans Hornets coach Paul Silas, as the Hornets go to do the same thing the Pistons are trying to do. Stave off elimination and force one of the best things in sports, Game 7 of a playoff series. Billups minute at the break. The Pistons by 9. AT&T halftime report is next as you watch the NBA playoffs on ESPN.
Welcome to the AT&T halftime report.
Guess who's found their groove? Chauncey Billups. 6 threes for Billups in the first half, and that's the reason the Pistons on top 54-45.
This is it. Either you do or you die. The NBA playoffs, the strong survive. Crunch time, gut check, now or never. Game 6 playoffs, it gets no better. Back in the Hornets' nest, will the answer stop the questions and prove who's best? Phillies up 3-2 and it's on to Game 6. Command and the Hornets get back in the mix. The NBA.
A trifecta of Game 6s tonight here on ESPN and ESPN2. Coming up next, the Sixers and Hornets, another game where a team faces elimination. The Charlotte Hornets facing elimination. Welcome to the AT&T halftime report. As always, I'm joined by Greg Anthony, and great first half for Chauncey Billups.
Oh, tremendous first half. I mean, really, if you think about it, Orlando got a lot of what they wanted, but Chauncey Billups too much for him.
All right, meanwhile, as we get set for Game 2, the Sixers and Hornets, we look back to Wednesday, and the difference in this game was despite a mangled finger, Jamal Mashburn came and dropped 21 points, 8 of 20 from the floor.
Well, anytime you have your best player playing well, that's obviously going to help your cause. But again, the big key, George Lynch coming off the bench, 16.6 rebounds, played extremely well for that
Right,
team.
so the Hornets keep hope alive, and we are joined right now by the main man for the Hornets. Not any of the players, Paul Silas. Coach Silas, thanks for taking the time out to join us as you get ready for a big game tonight.
Thanks so much. I like that saying, keep hope alive.
Yeah, well, hope is alive. And let me ask you something. How do you keep hope alive through all the injuries and the adversity that you guys have had to go through?
Well, it's just a matter of me not letting them use excuses. I'm not going to let them use any excuse for poor play. If we don't get it done, we just don't get it done. We can lose players, we can do whatever, but I expect the guys that are playing for me to go all out, and if we don't get it, it's just because we're not getting it done.
Coach, how is Jamal Mashburn, and how is he playing and shooting the way he is right now? Because I'm going to tell you something. If I hurt my finger like that, I'm done. I may not come into the anchor desk.
Well, the doctor told me it was going to be like 3 to 4 weeks before he'd be back, and it's only been a week. This guy has just willed himself to come back, play, and do well. The thing is killing him, but he flat out told me, Coach, I do not want to go home, and I'm going to play, and I'm going to do well, and that's exactly what happened. We fed off him. Had we not had him out there and his energy, no way we could have won that 5th game.
Paul Silas, Greg Anthony, how you doing, Coach?
Hey, I'm doing great, Greg. Good to see you.
Yeah, listen, you and I talked earlier in the season about your team and also your situation. I hate to take a little bit of the focus off the game because it is important, but let's face it, the fact that you have not been extended, that has to be an issue for you based upon the job you've done. I mean, you've done one of the top 5 coaching jobs in the league this year with everything you've had to deal with. Where is your mindset in this series with that?
Well, I have never let that bother me or the team. They know exactly where I am and what I stand for. You know, we tried to get something done during last summer. It didn't happen. We decided to table things till after the season, and that's exactly what we did. But I never felt like a lame duck coach. These guys have been with me all the way. I've been with them. I believe in them. They believe in me, and they believe in themselves, and that's what has gotten us through. But, you know, we'll sit down after the season is over, and I'm sure we'll try to work something out. If not, there are other options out there.
Oh, there are definitely other options, but you got to like this team you have and the way you guys are playing right now. Do you think, what's the key to the game for you? I think it's going to be your ability to rebound the ball offensively, but you tell me what you think the key is.
That's exactly right. That and turnovers. We have turned the ball over 21 times or more when we've lost. The last game, we turned it over 10 times for 8 points. And the rebounding, Kenny Thomas is probably our biggest nemesis. He and Derek Coleman are going to come in crashing the boards. That means McGlure, P.J. Brown, George Lynch, Tractor Trailer, Moiso, all my guys. That's all I've been preaching the last couple of days is we have to rebound the ball better and we have to limit our turnovers. Should we do those two things, I'm sure we're going to get the win.
All right, you guys win tonight and you extend it to a 7th game. Then you have to go to Philly, play in a tough place, the First Union Center. But like you said, you won't let your guys lay down or take it easy. So obviously you have them focused and ready for that task.
Well, there's no quit in these guys. You know, through all the adversity that we've been through, Baron Davis goes down, we change the lineup, go with the big lineup, Mashburn takes over at point forward, and we continue on. And that's just it. I have to find a way. George Lynch comes in the other night and gives me my big lift. It has to be somebody else. This is money time. All the money's on the line. You know, I tell my players straight out, respect all your opponents, but fear none, and that's where we are right now.
And you know what, Coach Silas, first of all, thanks for joining us, but I want to say it's money time, and it's time for you, one of the class acts in the NBA, to get paid and getting taken care of. And if they're sleeping down in New Orleans, there are a lot of folks out there waiting to take care of you. Thanks, Coach Silas.
Thanks so much. I appreciate you
all
guys.
Right. Well, hey, thanks for joining us, and good luck tonight. Paul Silas,
thank you.
Great guy.
Class act.
Yes, he is. Hey, don't forget the 76ers and the Hornets at 9:30 Eastern. That's coming up after the game going on right now between Detroit and Orlando, and then the nightcap on ESPN2, the Mavericks and Blazers. Can the Blazers sneak back in to that series? They've already won 2 straight games. Meanwhile, Tracy McGrady, despite a lack of help from teammates, still doing his thing. 22 points from McGrady in the first half.
This halftime report is presented by the world's networking company, AT&T. Welcome back to the AT&T halftime report.
This afternoon, during a team meeting, John Stockton announces his retirement. So one of the great careers and one of the greatest point guards ever to play the game is now leaving the game. And Greg Anthony, your thoughts on John Stockton and his departure?
You know, the most amazing thing for me is this is a guy that never, ever took a night off. He never cheated the game. He always played with respect. And he's the one guy who I think probably the most consistent player to ever play the game. That's how I'll remember John Stockton as a basketball player.
You didn't hear a lot of people saying that he's 41 years old. You didn't hear people saying that. You're just saying John Stockton, one of the greats, and he played great even into his 40s. Congratulations on a great career, John. You will be missed. Meanwhile, Chauncey Billups not missing much of anything, is he?
No, he is flowing. You'll have to keep it up the second half, though.
This halftime report is presented by the world's networking company, AT&T.
Back in the TD Waterhouse Centre in Orlando with Michelle Zafoya and Tom Tolbert, Mike Tirico. First half stats of a Detroit 54-45 advantage here in pivotal Game 6 of the best of 7. Chauncey Billups, 4 3-pointers in the whole series, all 6 for Detroit in the first half. Orlando +6 on the boards. Detroit taking care of it well. Orlando doing the job in the paint, and Tracy McGrady, 22 points on 6 of 15 from the field.
Well, as always, he's their guy. The danger they're going to have to face in the second half is let's not just get into Tracy because he's our best player, one of the top players of the game, and stand around and watch. If I was McGrady, I'd say, look, you guys get out there and do something. Don't just give it to me, stand around and watch. You look at the numbers right there. Gooden 6 points, great on the rebounds, Armstrong 5 points, and so on.
Doc Rivers has just appealed with passion to his team to get this second half in their favor.
They cannot stop us from winning. All right? The refs can't stop you, and they can't stop you. We take them to the basket every time. Fair and penalty. Attack the basket every single time. All right? We don't have to worry about that. We play our game. Nothing is going to stop us from winning this game. Nothing.
Great passion for the 41-year-old Rivers, who, as the building was building against the officials and the fouls were going against Orlando, he had to try to keep his young team reined in. The likes of rookie Drew Gooden and Gordan Giriček, Jacques Vaughn, who was shut out in that first half, 7 minutes, 0-3 from the field. Some of those players, Darrell Armstrong, Giriček, somebody will have to step up if Orlando does not want to board a plane back to Metro Detroit tomorrow.
Well, they need to take some shots. Giriček took 2 shots in the first 1 minute of the game, and in his last 19 minutes of playing time, 1 shot. Armstrong, only 2 field goal attempts. Those guys need to get the flow of the offense and be more aggressive in the second half.
The Ben Wallace rebound was his 8th. He's with Robinson, Billups, Hamilton, and Michael Curry, the 5 on the floor, who started the game for the #1 seed, second best team on the road in the East. Wallace let the clock go by and slams it.
Well, the clock has lost him. They just flat out lost him. He stayed on the strong side. Wallace went to the weak side and snuck in behind him. Oh, you got to shoot that.
The Magic turn it over. Michelle Tafoya.
Coming out of the locker room, guys, Doc Rivers said on offense, I want my team taking the ball to the hole more, not settling for those jump shots. And on defense, he said, we have to get up on the pick and roll. That's what's been hurting us. And look, you already have seen it. Tracy McGrady is going to take much of the defensive responsibility on Chauncey Billups this half, guys.
Well, then watch Rip Hamilton, because McGrady was going to see Hamilton defensively. That's off Cliff Robinson. Good hustle by Gooden to force a rare turnover for the Pistons tonight, just their 4th of the game.
Well, a lot of energy Tracy McGrady's going to have to expend on the defensive end if he's fighting Billups over screens and guarding the point guard, running him off screens, and that can wear you down as well.
This is what McGrady's worked so hard in the offseason for, to have the stamina to get through. Vaughn comes across the lane and connects for the first time tonight.
Well, that's what he should have done last time down the court. I mean, you can't pass up 8-footers. You got to be able to shoot those.
Ben Wallace faked everybody out.
Vaughn. You're like, oh, give him a hug.
Robinson has been quiet tonight offensively. To Wallace, who went left hand. Couldn't finish, couldn't get the board. And a foul on Robinson. If it's Cliff, and it is, that's his 4th. First player to 4, and that'll bring Mehmet Okur off the Detroit bench.
For Detroit, number 13, Mehmet Okur.
So Robinson to the bench with 4 fouls and just 1 point. And remember, Detroit's not getting any points out of Corliss Williamson, who did not play again in the first half. He didn't get the warm-ups off at all in Auburn Hills for Game 5. Gooden tries to go to Okur, and Wallace came over with a 2-hand block. 3 for Ben here tonight.
Well, I was thinking the same thing. I don't think Okur can guard good, but you got to be smart about it. You got to know when help's coming.
Vaughn blocked Billups, but Wallace kept the possession alive. As you see, shot clock always in, 10 to shoot. Hamilton trying to beat Giriček, and the foul is called on Gordan, who wanted the arm called on Hamilton.
Yeah, that's a tough one when he extends the arm and knocks out the ball. And right here, it's a good thought. Go at him. But right when you get in the middle, you got to find somebody else. You know the big fella's in there, and he's just looking for you to throw up something wild so he can say, hey.
If one thing has come out of this series, Ben Wallace has emerged as more of a leader. He's a defensive presence, but he called his teammates out in a surreptitious way after Game 4. He's looked for his offense more. He has tried to carry more of the load. 2 to shoot. Billups sees it. Offensive foul before the pass to Okur. 2 on Chauncey.
Well, it's just downright ugly offensive possession right there.
I think you're going to get more of those with Robinson on the bench. Okur, Curry, and Wallace are not A options offensively. And with McGrady guarding one of the guards, it'll be tougher. Gooden. Not good enough. We'll stay here. Foul on the Pistons. Their 2nd of the quarter. It's on Okur, 2nd.
And second team foul.
I still like that matchup. I still like the matchup of Gooden on Okur. If you just get him the ball a little bit closer, 14, 15 feet, then you face up. Now you're in your range, and if he comes up on you, then you can go by him.
Vaughn trying to get the step. Nice job to go to the right hand as the defense was sliding over. Jacques Vaughn has both Magic field goals in the first 3 minutes of the 3rd. Vaughn shut out in his 3 field goal attempts in the first half. Hamilton loves that shot. A little hang in the lane from the side, or it's just shy of the lane, I should say. Vaughn being aggressive offensively to Andrew DeClerc. Other players involved in the first 3.5. It's not Tracy Mac and the Mouseketeers.
Vaughn's done a nice job twice. Aggressive taking it to the hole and ditching it off once and pulling up for a 7-foot jump shot the other time. Actually, 3 times he's done it. Made a big difference in their offense so far.
Curry will take it 2. Wallace tried to read it. Just his hustle kept the possession alive. He didn't get the board, but he kept it alive.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Those type of things he may do 4 or 5 times during the game, and he won't even get credit for it, but he gives you an extra possession.
And he does get credit for a bunch of boards. 19 a game in this series. Okur fouled by Gooden. 3 on Drew. The NBA.com has compiled the 10 greatest shots in NBA playoff history. Why don't you log on to cast your vote and pick the best shot only on NBA.com. Fans react to the replay on the overhead at TD Waterhouse Centre.
Well, you got to know your opposition, and I mean, that was a good strip. But you know Okur is not going to jump over you. So if you're good and you don't need to force it and reach for the strip, just stay in front of him, and your length is going to deter him from shooting over you.
One more for Okur, who was actually a better soccer player when he was growing up in Turkey. And because of his size, somebody 50 miles away said, he's a good athlete, he's pretty tall, maybe he should be a basketball player. At age 23, the Pistons' second-round pick of 2001, scored 7 points per game in his rookie season. Vaughn left free. DeClerc did a nice job on the pick and roll and to force the ball out off Okur.
Well, he's got to make those, and those are the shots you got. That will open up a slew of other opportunities if he can hit that 16 to 70-foot jump shot, because you can tell they're giving it to him.
Grady yet to take a shot here in this third. Giriček misfired, but it comes right to Tracy, who hits his first field goal of the third. Orlando led early, 11-5. The Pistons went on a burst thanks to Chauncey Billups' threes in the middle of the first quarter. Orlando hasn't led since.
As they say, mouse in the house. Oh,
Curry over Vaughn.
Stepped on him.
Slight size disadvantage for Jacques. Curry drawing the defensive assignment. McGrady had no room, no airspace to turn and get comfortable rising up for that jumper. Pistons trying to get it up to double digits. Offensive foul called on Curry, and that's not where Detroit wants to see Michael Curry waste a foul.
Well, you would have never thought that would be something you'd be concentrating on if you're Rick Kylow. Get it to Curry on the box. Get it to Curry on the box. But that's what happens when you put McGrady on Billups. You put McGrady on Billups, and then you kind of swing everything around, and you're going to have a mismatch somewhere.
And Garrity's come in 0 for 4 tonight, 4 of 22 in the series, struggling through the pain of a bruised pelvis.
Boy, you get out of his way.
Ooh, eyes open.
Get out of the way.
He's got Okur.
Nice.
To Gooden. And one. It all started with the mismatch up top, and McGrady made the most of it.
Well, Billups saw it. You see Billups kind of sneaking over right there, and that's just, boy, football court didn't catch a cold. You might want to get him some aspirin right now, because he's just by him in a hurry. And if you're Billups, that's something you just got to run over there quickly. I mean, 9-1-1 that thing. Go and get that ball out of his hands.
Gooden missed the free throw. Team fouls, 3 on Detroit, 2 on Orlando in the first 5.5 of the third. Hamilton high riser. Gooden all over the board. 10 now for Drew. Orlando trying to get a little firmer toehold here. Vaughn bumped by Wallace, just the first on Ben.
Well, that's a tough one to take if you're Ben Wallace, but Jacques Vaughn once again initiating it, getting in there, being aggressive. You can see right here, Vaughn's a little hesitation move. Going to get by you. And Wallace is sliding. Oh, look at that.
Lost it on the way up as it was just thrown away off the inbounds by Vaughn. Wallace tried to go up and dunk it, but lost the handle. And Orlando dodges one. The double for McGrady.
Travel.
Giriček walked. And we have a timeout. Halfway through quarter number 3. 8 seed against the 1 seed. It's going to get a little tight if Orlando can't take a lead very soon.
ESPN's presentation of the NBA playoffs, brought to you by Sprite, Obey Your Thirst, and MCI, bringing voice and data solutions together on one global network.
Ben Wallace tried the high rise and flush, but lost the ball on the way up. As the Detroit Pistons lead by 7 here in Game 6 of the opening round Eastern Conference Series. Already New Jersey and Boston have advanced to round 2. We could have all 4 teams to the second round by the end of the night. We know we'll have a game on ABC Sunday at 3:30 Eastern, either Game 7 of one of the remaining first-round series or the opening game of a conference semifinal. And TNT will have Boston, New Jersey, Lakers, San Antonio, a doubleheader Monday and Wednesday for those series as the second round gets going there. No determination yet, by the way, which games will be played on Sunday at what times. Could have 3 Game 7s potentially, or could have some series getting started and 1 Game 7. Hang with us all the way through the night. When the guys are done in Portland at about 1 a.m. Eastern, we'll know what's going on Sunday. Needless to say, it's all exciting. Hamilton at 2. Rebound by McGrady. Look for Tracy to take over this stretch. Long throw for Giriček. Handed it right to Hamilton as he was falling out of bounds.
They tried to bounce it off of him. Didn't bounce it off hard enough.
Rip on the take and a foul called. You know, he's talking about great Detroit guards. Hamilton, Billups having a great night. We saw Vinnie Johnson earlier. The president of the Detroit Pistons kind of stays under the radar. Joe Dumars. There is Joe D. He and John Hammond, the vice president of basketball operations, are the decision makers and the brain trust for this Piston franchise. And that was one of the most ridiculous columns I have ever read in my life, written in the Detroit newspapers this week. Good. It said that Rick Carlisle's job could be in jeopardy because he wasn't making enough adjustments, and this is his second year as a coach. You look at this roster. Joe D's phone ain't ringing off the hook at trade deadline. Oh, we need these players desperately. And they have gotten 50 wins out of a good team, but certainly not a great team. And why? Why are they the 1 seed? Because the East isn't very good. And every night the Pistons do what everybody does in the playoffs. They play hard defense, deny passes, take charges, all the little stuff that you're seeing every team do now. Nice fake by Vaughn and a foul on Okur. The point is, for the life of me, I cannot imagine. Maybe Rick Carlisle is not the greatest coach in the world. Maybe he needs to adjust better in a playoff series. But if you tell me that a guy who wins 50 back-to-back years should be fired, or maybe think about a job change when he won the Coach of the Year last year, 4th in the voting this year, and you write a column like that, that's just irresponsible from where I sit. And I rarely go out and say something like that, but it was minor league, to be very frank.
I feel like it's almost stupid to have to comment on the stupidity of a column like that. How do you judge coaches? By wins. And that's the bottom line as a coach. And to be able to come in your first 2 years and get 50-50, I mean, come on. Look at the talent on this roster. Good talent, not great talent, but Carlisle's done a fantastic job with this team. It's not like it's his 9th year here, and he hasn't been able to get over the top. It's his 2nd year with the Pistons.
Vaughn goes 1 of 2. Gooden got the rebound, stripped inside, and Corliss Williamson, who just came in the game after Okur picked up his 4th foul, comes away with the ball. Corliss, who played 25 minutes a game, every game for Detroit this year, did not play in Game 5. On the bench the whole first half. Let's see what he does here in Game 6. 6 to shoot. He comes down the lane. And got the hoop. And the Piston bench reacts to Williamson getting his first hoop in his first moments on the floor in 5 days. McGrady, tough shot. Hamilton kept it alive. Giriček got the board, but forced to play off Detroit.
Boy, some things never change. When you're a scorer, you come off the bench scoring. Here I am, give me the ball, let me take it to the rack, and give you a deuce. You got to make sure you get at least one shot before you go back to the bench. Although if you keep scoring, you may not go back for some time.
You see, he had 16 in game 3. The problem is on the defensive end. And Williamson is a tough matchup. Oh, Gooden, blocking foul called on Wallace. 2 on Ben.
Boy, he just got blasted. I tell you what, I like that though. They're not giving up too many blocks today. They're going to call. I mean, they're going to call blocks, not giving up too many charges. It's tough. He squared him up pretty good on that one. He squared him up and took it, but they've been pretty consistent with this. And watch this. This is just right in the kisser. Gotcha. But they haven't been. It's been block, block, block. And I actually kind of like the block. I'm not a big charge guy. You start calling too many charges, and it gets to be dangerous.
John Barry is full out working. He's got to be careful. He has a technical foul, remember, but John's got a little lawyer in him. He can work it. Rarely silent. 1 of 2 there. Piston lead is 9. We approach 4 minutes, third quarter. Defensive 3 seconds called on Orlando, a technical foul. Curry is trying to isolate once again on Chris Whitney. And Doc is just telling Gooden, you've got to go out and make yourself legal. Yeah. Run in and out of the lane. Get yourself 3 seconds again. Chauncey makes it. The lead is 10.
Oh, it's funny. I remember when I was playing for Golden State, and Don Nelson, the head coach of the Warriors when I was playing, said if you find yourself illegal, just look like you know what you're doing. Look like you know what you're doing out there. As soon as you look confused, they're gonna get you. And sometimes it's true. Just look like you know what you're doing out there.
10 to shoot. Williamson. Gooden on the knockdown, but Corliss connects. I think his feet were in the circle, so if anything, it would have been a foul on Orlando.
Woo! I like it. Physical.
Detroit has tied its biggest lead of the night. And the turnover. Curry and Hamilton run. Billups comes to the line. Missed the 3. But kept alive by Hamilton. To Billups. He needs to come back and settle. How is it going to go? Defense reacts. Beautiful bounce pass to Hamilton. Timeout Orlando. And the Pistons on the road lead by 14. Joe D and Rick Carlisle are stoic. The Pistons are not.
Was it me or the Pistons playing like they're on the verge of elimination, and the Magic are playing like they have a game to go? Look at that. Get out of my way. Go ahead and lay it up, and then Hamilton, nice job away from the ball. McGrady turns his back. Sneaky. Gotcha.
They have a long history. The Detroit Pistons have never won Game 5 and 6 to force Game 7. They are getting ever close.
This update brought to you by Taco Bell. Don't forget, coming up next, Allen Iverson and the Sixers take on the Hornets. Greg Anthony.
Allen's going to have to play well. He has struggled in New Orleans, played great at home, but you expect a guy with his game to come out with a big performance tonight.
Now, just the opposite for Baron Davis. He has done well at home, struggled on the road like Allen Iverson. Here's Baron as you look at Allen Iverson's numbers. Here's B. Diddy getting ready, averaging 20 points and 7 assists in this series so far. Can the Hornets stay alive?
Pivotal Game 6 there, Kevin. Same here. Orlando feels it slipping away. Down 14. Doc Rivers trying to get something going in the huddle during that timeout.
Drew, if the guy walks all the way over, one of you guys have to come all the way over with him. All right? But all the way, Sean. No tiptoeing now, baby. We're down right now. Okay? We got to play. We got to play with force the rest of this game, guys. We got to play with force. You can't feel sorry for yourself. You can get back in this game and win it. There's a lot of time.
Hey, they know it. They know that Game 7, it's not a guarantee that the Pistons are going to win. But with a young team, fragility level goes way up. Michelle Tafoya.
Mike, just before you heard that from him, Doc Rivers came to the huddle, very calmly looked at his team and said, hey, what's wrong? You look like your confidence is rocked. You're all shaking your heads. You're not thinking. We're going faster and faster and faster. You just have to play the game, Mike.
Armstrong with a miss. That's one of the guys who can give him a lot. Garrity on the box, lost the handle. Hamilton comes away with it.
Well, they're making him work for everything. And the one thing that's different in this game, as opposed to when the Magic are winning, transition points. Not many transition points in today's game.
It's a mismatch with Kemp out on Billups, and they're trying to locate it inside or out. Chauncey deep triple. Never hit the rim. Should have got something better out of that mismatch.
Absolutely. Well, you got to take that one to the hole.
As McGrady does here, fouled by Williamson. Wallace hasn't played. He's got a big body and a lot of banging to come.
He's nasty. He's just ripping everybody out.
We continue to watch what everyone else is doing, and the problem for Orlando is the McGrady numbers haven't changed much.
Right here.
Since
right
the first
there. I'm going to blot him out so you can't see him. But 4 field goal attempts. I'm supposed to go around him, not through him. But the 3 field goal attempts and the 4 field goal, that's where I just don't use that. I mean, it's just a mess using that. But
dainty is not an adjective to describe you.
7 field goal attempts between Armstrong and Giriček. You need more than that.
See, McGrady's had a sluggish quarter, 1 of 3 from the field, 1 of 2 from the line. Darryl Armstrong, the energy guy. And Giriček on the bench now, needs to pick it up here. 13 as we approach 2.5 left in the third. Gooden has Williamson. Michael Curry up top for 2. Wallace chases down the rebound.
Well, they're getting the loose balls. They're getting the rebounds. They're getting the second shots. And something you would think a home team would do.
Ben's 11th board. See, when Williamson's in, the Pistons get a little stagnant also offensively. They got to be careful of that. Get on the double, who's open? Wallace from the top. From 20, Ben Wallace! And when that's going, things are going really well for the Pistons.
If you're Doc Rivers, you can almost call this one. 20-footer from Ben.
Gooden tries to respond, clangs one out. And Ben on the board, 12 points and 12 rebounds for Wallace, who had 20 rebounds in each of the last 3 games. That hasn't happened in the playoffs, 3 straight 20-board games since Wilt back in the 70s. Williamson says, get out of the way, Rick. I'm going to the cup. Over Gooden. Rebound, Sean Kemp. 85 seconds left in the third. McGrady was fouled by Curry. Michael had that same expressive look after a foul call earlier in this series. Now 4 on Curry.
Well, check this out right here. I mean, this is what you want. This is what you're saying. Yeah. Oh man, how'd that happen? The bench is like, yeah. Don't. Let's wait another quarter for taking another one of those. But that was sweet. That was sweet.
Tayshaun Prince ready to sprint into the lineup. McGrady missed the first. And here comes the rookie out of Kentucky. Now, the one thing about Prince, as his offense emerges at 6'9" with that 7'3" wingspan, a good jump shot, he presents matchup problems for you. So if Detroit can get him as the 3-man down the line, it will make them a little more diverse offensively.
You think instead of number 22, he could just put like a symbol on his jersey and that would work?
Prince?
Yeah, symbol. Like a symbol. Just like, instead of number 22. It's a marketing ploy, I think.
Good job. Giriček picks Prince's pocket and has 2. Carlisle trying to get a timeout here. They don't. He's telling him to get away and let Chauncey take it. And Rick Carlisle gets the timeout now. A little defensive wrinkle there. Rick does not want to see momentum build here in this building. But people asked about momentum. Momentum in the playoffs. In hockey, it's a hot goalie. In baseball, it's a great pitcher. And in the NBA, it's a 10-0 run and about 10,000 thunder sticks. Orlando could have a run in them. Timeout. With director Jimmy Moore, producer Tim Corrigan, Mike Tirico, Michelle Tafoya, Tom Tolbert here in Orlando. Pistons trying to force a Game 7, lead by 12. If you're just coming in on the West Coast, here's the Miller Lite storyline from Game 6. All 6 Detroit three-pointers, I should say, by Chauncey Billups. Terrific protection of the ball by the Pistons. Billups leading them with 27. McGrady only 4 points in the quarter, and Orlando has been outscored by 15 from behind the arc by Detroit. Not what you would expect here in Orlando.
And it's been Billups. And Billups was the guy early on that gave him those 5 3-pointers in the first half. You wonder how much it takes out of you if you're McGrady. You got to run around with the point guard, run around chasing Billups, and he's not on him right now. But that's tough, guarding a point guard when you're a big guy.
Armstrong hounding defense on Billups, trying to keep the Pistons from getting into their offense until 8 on the clock. Hamilton off a screen, set by Williamson. So Corliss Williamson's had some good impact in this game. A couple of hoops and a big screen there to free rip as Detroit goes up 14. 6 points in 5 minutes as well. McGrady sees Billups defensively, goes right to the hole and draws the foul.
The extension on that thing. My goodness. I thought it was going to be one of those layups, and all of a sudden it's... Hey, watch this left arm. Just kind of jump easy and yeah.
Nice.
that is sweet right there. I can only do that with a trampoline. Put the trampoline out there. Or for the guys who are vertically challenged, we used to take them and like grab them by the hips and throw them up and get some monster dunks. Those were fun too.
One more coming from McGrady. As the All-Star game came about and everyone wanted to see Michael Jordan start, McGrady offered his starting spot, was one of the first. And one of the things that he relishes is the sneakers that Michael Jordan sent over from the Washington locker room after they played, and the quote on them as Michael signed them, "I enjoyed the challenge." It wasn't like Tracy went and begged for them. Michael sent them over to Tracy. And that says all you need to know about what the greatest player in the game thinks of the future of the Orlando Magic. Armstrong a foul, 45 feet away. But Orlando had one to give here in the last 2 minutes. Michelle.
Mike, remember prior to the game when we talked to Tracy McGrady, and he said that that left knee of his was a little bit sore today. Just now at the free throw line, he was rubbing that knee. It continues to bother him a little bit. It hasn't been that way early, but now you see it starting to come into play, Mike.
A little tendonitis, he said, bothered him, but it didn't bother him there or there.
Well, it's tough when you're the big guy out there and you got to... Ben Wallace tried to look, whoop, and then right back at him, up, and at that point, you just got to let him go. But I tell you what, geez. I mean, that's just incredible. He just unfolds up in the air.
That's why they tell the bigs to keep the ball up above your waist, not down there.
Well, that's why you don't give it to him at half court either.
Yep. Back to 9. Big stop potentially here. Pistons will try to hold for 1.
Well, they don't have one to give there.
They gave it a moment ago. Yeah. Whitney thought they had one to give. He looked up at the board and saw the team fouls.
Yeah, that's what Doc Rivers is saying. Mental blowout right there.
That's brutal. Horrible. And you send the 9th best shooter in the league to the line.
I would just, I'd go high for Whitney right now.
Or you just take and say, I'm going to make the 3 to beat the clock to get the momentum going to the 4th.
Well, I mean, obviously he forgot.
Yeah.
And he forgot, I don't know how you forget, it only happened about 30 seconds ago, but Armstrong fouled and gave up the foul. I guess with the steal and the thunder sticks and the foul and the dunk, you're just all hyped up. We got one to give. Oh, we don't?
Vaughn will come in for Garrity here in the final 7-7, trying to get more speed and shooting on the floor. Armstrong, Garrity, Whitney, McGrady, and Gordan Giriček, essentially 4 guards.
Well, you want to make sure if you miss it, you secure the rebound.
Yeah. With Prince and Wallace on the box. The 9th best shooter in the league didn't. Plus 11. Vaughn chases it down. Whitney for 2. Quarter. Detroit led by 9 after 1. By 9 after 2. Now they lead by 11. Tracy McGrady's got numbers, but he needs to carry this team through the final 12 minutes. He scraped the ceiling at the end of the third, got the building back involved. But now McGrady, who has never gotten to the second round, saw his team up 3-1, sees them in danger of going to Game 7. Can he hold off the Pistons in the fourth?
Time for our Dockers Defender's Edge. One guess what it is, Greg Anthony.
Well, this is why defense is so important, because it leads to easy baskets.
Or posters.
Yeah. Big Ben tried to get out of the way, but I think
he
he's
realized
be
it's
in the
second too late, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Log on to ESPN.com and vote for the Dockers Defender's Edge. George Lynch getting ready. He had 12 points in the fourth quarter of Game 5. That was key.
It was, but don't forget the 5 rebounds. We all know how important rebounding is, right, Mike?
Absolutely, Greg, especially in that game coming up in New Orleans. Brett Musburger, Sean Elliott, Sal Mazzucchello standing by in the Big Easy. It is pressure time for the Orlando Magic. They are down 11, heading to the fourth quarter. They are an 8 seed trying to make the history of being the first 8 seed to beat a 1 seed in a best of 7. It's only happened twice in best of 5 opening rounds. And the problem is they're coming to the fourth quarter, where the Magic have been horrible thus far because the Pistons have played terrific defense. The Magic have scored about 17 points per fourth quarter in this series. They scored 10 in Game 5's final stanza at the Palace of Auburn Hills on Wednesday. Detroit is 12 minutes from forcing Game 7. Wallace hit the deck, a turnover. This Pistons team hasn't turned it over much, Tom. Gives it up for the 9th time.
Well, they need something to get him going right there.
Tracy time. He lost the handle. Screens for the foul. He's got to be careful. Remember, McGrady has a technical from earlier on.
Well, they've done a nice job, Detroit. They're going to call a 20-second timeout.
Tayshaun Prince is hurt. Yep.
I was staying aggressive throughout the game. And hopefully Tayshaun Prince, I did not get a chance to see.
A nasty fall for Prince. And all the players are over there as well as Mike Abdenauer, the trainer. Very concerned with Tayshaun Prince. He was under the hoop. We'll follow him out there towards the top.
Right there.
Slipped and fell.
And he looked like the knee got caught underneath him as he fell backwards.
The left knee, he put no pressure on it as he came over to the side. There you see right there. Oh, did the split. Michelle?
Well, they are looking, Mike, at the back and the side of Tayshaun Prince's left knee. You called it. It was the left knee that he injured. He was wincing in a great deal of pain. Obviously can't put any weight on it. And they're just doing all the normal looking at the knee that they do when a guy suffers a knee injury to see how the mobility is and whether or not it's a tendon, Mike.
Yep. Test the structure and everything, Michelle. You'll keep an eye on that. Hamilton comes in. Billups takes the shot, and Detroit goes up 13.
That's one thing they have to continue to do. Stay aggressive, not try to bleed the shot clock down. And they know Orlando's going to want to speed this game up, but you can't stop doing what you've been doing. They did a nice job putting 77 points on the board so far.
Mismatch, Garrity took advantage of it and draws the foul on Billups. Third on Chauncey, who has 31, equaling McGrady as top scorer tonight.
Well, you got to respect the way this guy's been shooting the ball from the outside. He's going to give you just a, geez, he just came like Spider-Man came flying in there. And then at the other end, Garrity, you don't realize if you're a good outside shooter how big he is. And that's just an easy post-up over Billups right there.
Garrity able to get on the scoreboard with his first field goal of the night. Completes the old-fashioned three-point play. Pressure behind. Picked up by Curry. Gets the ball over the line before 8 seconds. No violation. Wallace was tackled by Garrity. And
all he had to do was go up with it. He would have went up with it. He was going to take a big 2-point pin.
A lot of screening, discarding. Billups can't make it. Wallace the board. Pitch to Rick, and Hamilton's foul. Michelle?
Well, the update is this. The Detroit Pistons tell us that Tayshaun Prince has a strained hamstring right now in that left leg. That's what they're calling it now. They say it's more muscular than it is knee-related, guys.
Huh. I didn't even know he had a hamstring, to be honest with you. Just come to find out it's strange. Well, I tell you, that's going to be bruised pelvis or not. We hope Tayshaun Prince is going to be okay and be able to play again. It's tough to guard Ben Wallace and keep him off the glass. And Garity's going to have a heck of a time trying to keep Ben Wallace off the glass. He's not big enough to keep him off the glass anyway. But, you know, being injured and trying to keep the league's best offensive rebounder off the glass, tough duty.
Ben has 13 rebounds tonight. Meantime, Hamilton at the line. The Palace guards, Hamilton and Billups, have 53 of the Detroit 81. They are the difference tonight. Detroit by a dozen. 90 seconds gone by. Fourth quarter. Giriček got John Barry to fall. Recovers defensively. Gordan rising up. The rookie from Croatia makes it a 10-point game.
It's been about a full 3 quarters since he scored the last time.
Right at the top of the first. Sag back with Wallace out there. Hamilton off the mark. Whitney the board. So Whitney, Armstrong, McGrady, Giriček, and Garrity. Garrity stepped into the 3, came to the cup, but lost it out of bounds. Magic ball, 16 to shoot. Sixers, Hornets, game 6. There, the home team is the one trying to force game 7. Here it's the road team. Garrity for 3. Garrity the rebound. You know, it's almost tentative when Garrity goes up. It's one thing with the leg, but he hasn't been able to work on his shot that much. Nice Hamilton up top. It's the 3. McGrady went all the way up to get it.
Well, Garrity might not be able to block him out, but the whole team's trying. It's like the Lilliputians down there.
There is Tracy. Fouled by Robinson. That's 5 on Cliff.
Boy, shooters hate that. Oh, everybody hates it. But really, scorers hate that when they go drive and they get a foul called and they pass it, they can't. It's like, ooh, give it back to me so you just throw it up at the rim. Get to the free throw line.
Well, there's a great sign. Tayshaun Prince, not seriously hurt at all, comes back in the lineup. Joe Dumars, the president of the Pistons, watches. Prince, check that hamstring real quick. Thanks to McGrady. They turn him to the middle, and when you have Wallace there in the middle, it's such an advantage.
Well, you don't guard him with one man. You force him to where you want him to be, and then you let your team defense take over. That's what they did right there.
Brady 2 of 6 here in this half. Billups missed the 3. Pistons not getting great shots here in the first 3 minutes of the fourth.
Well, you want to stay aggressive, but also realizing those were going down in the first half, not the second.
Same deal. Same result.
And I bet you if you ask Tracy right now, he'd say that defense has nothing to do with that. I just kicked that one.
Doc telling the defense to keep up the intensity. A foul on the outside as Billups try to take it to the cup. 2 team fouls each side here in the first 3.5 of the fourth. Tracy McGrady saw his buddy Kevin Garnett, what he's gone through, 7 straight years out in the first round. He doesn't want to be lumped in the same group, wants to carry a team. Just look at his intensity. This is the opportunity Tracy McGrady and the Magic don't want to let slip away. It's very nice in Detroit this time of year, unless you're going back for game 7 on the road. Magic down 10, 8:35 to go in the fourth. Chauncey Billups, second of this Piston team in scoring the regular season, 16 points per game, same average in the postseason, but has doubled it here in the must-win for Detroit tonight.
Well, when you look at what he's done tonight, the mad skills, this is it. You know what, his skills may have made some Piston fans mad for the first part of the series, but tonight, 6 3-pointers, all of the Pistons' productivity from behind the line, and he had it going on early, set the tone early, got him out to the big lead, just rising up right there and saying, yeah, boy, skills, this is it. Right.
Right, it's skills. Michelle.
Well, Chauncey Billups told me before the game, he said, I believe Orlando feels a lot of pressure to win this game. He said, we play hard every single game, but the shots haven't fallen. And game 5, the last game, was about pride. We had too great a season. We were embarrassed at the state we're in. We had cheated ourselves intensity-wise. We're not going to do that for the rest of this series, Mike.
Armstrong right in Billups' face now, Michelle. Gets it to Prince, free to shoot. Tayshaun saw it, took it. Wallace tried to keep it alive. Armstrong hustled and chased it down.
Well, I've noticed the defensive intensity from Orlando has certainly risen in the first part of this fourth quarter. They're getting out, challenging, and making everything difficult for the Pistons. Now they just got to be able to score.
Wallace has McGrady thrown away by Armstrong. Barry looks to see if he has numbers. Circle back. You know, I thought about that, but it's the playoffs. I was going to let it go. 16.
No.
Orlando turnover.
And have fun all the way through.
10 to shoot. Prince posting on Whitney. He was held by Chris. Picked up from Denver in the offseason.
Well, Curry trying to post him up. Yeah.
Sorry, 20 starts for Denver.
Curry trying to post him up. Prince trying to post him up. I mean, if he gets caught on somebody besides Chauncey Billups, they're going to try to take him down there and post him up. Well, maybe not John Barry. He's got John Barry right now, who is the guy who spots up and penetrates. Not really much of a post-up game.
Good old-fashioned Eastern Conference grinded-out basketball. The contact up high. No call. Barry fakes the three. Hamilton's free for three. Pistons cannot hit from the outside. Orlando's got to seize a few of these opportunities, and it's got to be McGrady. Now it's time for him to take over.
Get it back to him in the post. Let him just rise up and shoot over him.
On Billups. Armstrong works the two-man game. Prince down to help. Garrity's at the line for three. With 7 to go. The rookie Prince in a big spot, in a must-win. No call as he was looking for it. McGrady switching, going down to the box with Billups. Across for back-to-back Garrity threes. Rebound, Chauncey.
I'm guessing they won't go Prince post up on McGrady again.
Probably not.
I mean, McGrady is a good defender. He can tee you up. You want to get a little something better than that right now.
Wallace out high. You said it, Tom. Great defense from Orlando here. Wallace took it, went to the hole, and he'll shoot free throws.
Well, they're stretching everything out, denying, getting in the passing lane, reaching for the ball without fouling. He's making everything difficult, and they did a nice job defensively right here. It was just almost had it and couldn't get to it.
And John Barry thought that they were going to get a momentum-stopping hoop. Instead, a 45% shooter goes to the line, where he's now 3 of 7 on the night. Ben Wallace, the 10th of 11 children, had a very tough year. His mom died right at the All-Star game. Just a few days before they get together in Atlanta, where Wallace was the starter for the East, and his first child a couple of weeks ago. Knee injury. It's been a tumultuous couple of months for Wallace, and he has stepped up in this playoff series. Garrity, faking three, missing two. Hamilton, quicker to the ball. McGrady frustrated that Rip got to it first. Game 6, Philly, New Orleans, coming up as soon as we're done in Orlando. Much congestion. Hamilton spins on Giriček. Gordan, the rebound, almost threw it away. Armstrong trying to run around Wallace. Mismatches on the other side. Giriček at the line. Takes the two.
You wonder how come they can't do a better job at keeping him involved in the game as a team, instead of letting him go quarters, just disappearing.
Timeout Pistons. He and Garrity discussing the same thing right there. The head fake, the shoulder fake. Very slowly. Orlando chipping away. It's 7 with 5.5 to go.
Allen Iverson's 30-point effort in Game 5 marked the 25th time he has scored 30 or more points in the playoffs. He'll need a big effort tonight. 76ers and Hornets are up next.
ESPN's presentation of the NBA playoffs, brought to you by the one and only Docker Stain Defender and NBA Street Volume 2 from EA Sports. Big.
Back in Orlando, Game 6, Gordan Giriček with a big hoop there. He now has 10, getting Orlando within 7. They were getting this close before the end of the third after they made a couple of turnovers. The Pistons re-extended to double digits. Again, the big picture. Orlando, the 8th seed, won Game 1, changed the tenor of this series, now trying to become the 3rd team ever as an 8th seed to beat a 1 in the opening round. Knicks did it to Miami, Denver and Mutombo to Seattle when it was best of 5. This is best of 7. The 1 seed is 37-2 against the 8th seed, with San Antonio eliminating a game Phoenix team last night.
And you know, with Williamson in the game, they're going to go to him on that left block and just see if he can deal.
On Garrity, got it to go. Corliss Williamson, 6 quarters with the sweats on, has come out in this second half and been a big factor for Detroit. He has a half dozen.
And you have to make up your mind whether you're Doc Rivers, if you're going to help Garrity, send somebody over to double team him, or see if you can handle him on his own.
Grady scoreless in the quarter. Armstrong didn't want to shoot. 6 to go. Comes out to Giriček. 3 to go. Gordan got close. Rebound Williamson. Team fouls, 4 on Orlando, 2 on Detroit. The Pistons can be aggressive on the defensive end.
Oh, going to give you another helping of Big Nasty down on the left block. Got the
popped out.
Yep. But he tried to set a pick and roll and couldn't quite get the ball, but he'll find a way to get the shot up.
Oh. Wallace on the putback. Nobody put a body on Big Ben. He has 16. His best offensive output of the series. Armstrong blocked by Williamson. Score the goal. Goaltending.
Well, you got to put a body on this guy, and with McGrady coming over to help, it's up in the air. That's what helped. I mean, you get a guy driving to the hole, sucks the defense over, and opens up offensive rebounding lanes. Of course, that's one guy he may want to get a body on.
Rick Carlisle calling for motion as we get to the 4-minute mark. Prince has it slapped away by Giriček. He has to be careful here. And Giriček picks up the foul. 4 on Gordan, but it'll put the Pistons at the line for the remainder of the game.
His 4th penalty situation. And for the Magic, number 9.
What do you think Game 6 Philly-New Orleans coming up right after us?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I mean, the one thing I did like about Philly going into that series is they had the most wins on the road by any Eastern Conference team. So it's going to be a grinder. And if Mashburn can come out and play well and give that team a lift, then it could. I'm not picking. You asked me to pick, I'll take Philly. I'll make people mad at me.
I didn't know I was sitting at the Waffle House.
No, I'll take Philly tonight, okay?
Prince, the rookie, hits 2 free throws. Pistons by 11, 4 minutes left. Game 7 would be Sunday at the Palace of Auburn Hills. Billups defensively on McGrady. Prince to help. Giriček came down the lane, and Wallace sent it back, his 4th block to go with 14 boards, 3 steals, and 16 points. The All-Stars stepping up for Detroit tonight.
And the great thing about him, he gets them when they're way up in the air, at the apex.
Billups is fouled, and that means free throws.
And you want to know what makes a great shot blocker? Anticipation. Here it comes. Slide up in the air. I mean, that is full extension right there. Watch how high this ball is in the air when he gets it. Yeah! That's amazing.
Not drafted. Acquired by Orlando from Washington in a trade, along with our buddy Tim Legler, an ESPN colleague. Ike Austin was the trade man they wanted to acquire, thus the 4-player deal for Austin. Wallace has come to Detroit and in this system blossom. That is out off the Pistons. 1 of 2 at the line for Ben. Doc Rivers takes timeout with 3.5 to go. They need a big comeback against the best defensive team in the NBA. Otherwise, we'll see you Sunday at the Palace.
Getting ready to tip in New Orleans as the Philadelphia 76ers trying to eliminate the Hornets. DC and crew trying to stay alive. They'll have to slow that man right there. Allen Iverson, 76ers and Hornets. That's up next once the game's done in Orlando.
Paul Silas's team won Game 5 on the road to force Game 6. The Pistons trying to win Game 6 on the road to force Game 7. Tracy McGrady, 9 points this half, scoreless. He's been on the floor for all 8.5 of the fourth. Got to carry him, down 12. Ben Wallace defensively, Gooden inside. Good recognition by McGrady.
Yeah, well, Ben Wallace going to come over and double team you. Jeez. Are they going to go to that already? They're going to start fouling. Put Ben Wallace on the line at 3 minutes and 20 seconds, down 10 points.
Well, Detroit has made 16 of its last 17 free throws. Wallace is 5 of 10 from the line. I mentioned a 45% shooter, but in the first game, he was great at the line. Ben was 7 of 8 at the stripe for his only points in the first game.
And I'll tell you why this may not work over the course of 3 minutes and 20 seconds. If he shoots 50% from the free throw line, that's like shooting 50% from the field. Okay, that's 2 points every 2 trips down. They're not even coming close to shooting 50% from the field. So if he makes 1 out of 2, you've given up about 10% over what you've done throughout the course of the game.
Wallace hits 1 of 2 there on his average. Armstrong to Garrity. A lot of good perimeter shooters in. Gooden, not the best, takes a very short 3, and Prince reacted to it and rebounded. And they come over and foul. Garrity gives the foul on Ben Wallace, and kind of almost that professional pat on the back, like, I'm really sorry that I'm doing this. This is not what I want to be doing. You can follow NBA legends of the present and the NBA legends of the past on NBA.com with the Love It Live playoff tour. There's a legend.
He's looking good. Belichick's looking good, man.
Yeah, doesn't he?
Look at that.
And so many of the charity events in Boston, just still athletic and active. He's out playing golf. Just one of the great class people. You meet people who say, I met John Havlicek. Oh, he was really nice. He's first class man.
We'd love to hear that.
Part of this Love It Live tour. It's great, too, getting a whole new generation of NBA fans who are seeing all these stars of the past, like Moses Malone, Bill Russell, Tiny Archibald, among those on the Love It Live tour, visiting all 16 playoff sites. Iceman, George Gervin. Maybe he's not the future generation we're talking about. Wallace back at the line. 0 for 2 there. It remains 11 at the 3-minute mark. And without stops, Carlisle can't go offense, defense. Armstrong missed the 3. Wallace got the board. And another foul. So it goes. Orlando is 2 of 15 behind the arc.
Well, if they keep fouling, we'll be out of here in about another, I don't know, 2.5 hours or so. I got about, you figure, what, 17 seconds. We got 6 free throw attempts. But if you ain't making shots at the other end, who cares? You gotta start making some shots.
That's 3 in a row he's missed. Boy, what do you do if you're Rick Carlisle? You can't take your best defensive player off the floor up 11. It is,
I keep him in there.
It was Hack-a-Shack. It's now Bang-a-Ben. 0 for 4. He's going to make a sub here with Cliff Robinson in a moment. Meantime, McGrady gets to the cup and gets 2. 9-point game. There is Robinson at the table. They are holding Wallace behind the play. And Whitney's begging for the call.
Can you foul him when he's out of bounds? Ben didn't want to come in bounds. He was just standing there out of bounds.
Yep. Perfectly legal. And the strategy Doc Rivers has gone to here in the final 3 minutes. Certain desperation. In college basketball, you used to be able to call intentional fouls like that. No such thing here because the flagrant foul has to do with the unnecessary contact made. They'll just keep sending Wallace to the line. splashes down that one, 7 of 17 from the stripe. It is a season high for Wallace. Best scoring night in the regular season is 17. 1 of 2 again. He's equaled his playoff high. 10 with 2.5 to go. If they bang a couple of threes, then it will change the tenor. McGrady misses again. Wallace is fouled on the rebound.
Cliff can't get in the game over there. Cliff Robinson just sitting at the sidelines, and Ben just happened to find himself with the offensive rebound.
Michelle?
You guys, when Ben Wallace was not drafted out of college, he told me he was initially very disappointed, but one of his college teammates, a guy named Maurice Green, got together with Ben and said, you know what, why don't we try to make you the kind of player that other players don't really try to become, like a great defender, a great shot blocker, and a great rebounder. And from that point on, he just devoted himself in the gym to blocking shots and pulling down rebounds, and ultimately made a roster, and you continue to see the fruits of that labor today.
He works on that shot a lot before the game, but this bang-a-ben is working for the moment. Tayshaun Prince fouls Tracy McGrady, so the sub can happen. Well, good job by Rick Carlisle. If fouls to give, so give one there. Let him come in. Wallace, 5 of 14 at the line the last 4 minutes. You can sense his disappointment as he comes out, yet he has been the difference maker in this game. No free throws. McGrady drives on Prince, makes it. There's still plenty of time here. An 8-point game, 2:10 to go. Now what will happen? No Wallace in the middle, so Orlando can go right to the hole when they have it. They got to stop Detroit. Billups fades. Hits. Huge shot for Chauncey. 33 for Billups. Equaling his best game of the season. McGrady, no Ben inside. He throws it down. 37 for Tracy. Armstrong hounding defense on Billups. Foul is called on Whitney as he came over. We're trying to trot on the contact across midcourt.
Yeah, I wonder what their offensive execution would be like after standing around for about 1.5 minutes, 2 minutes. Boy, that is just a tough shot. Good defense by Armstrong there. Anytime you got to fade away and take that type of shot, you've done your job. He just did the job a little bit better.
Going to bring Ben Wallace back in here, Tom. Whitney has fouled out of the game. Philly, New Orleans coming up next. Game 6 of that. Best of 7. Philly on top 3-2. The winner of this series plays the winner of that series. Which, if the Pistons win here tonight, will not start until early next week. And the Hornets have jumped up early, 11-2, as you see, on Philadelphia. So a hot start at home for New Orleans.
Like I said, I like the Hornets.
Too late. Billups comes to the line where he is 9 of 10. Chauncey approaching the best scoring game of his NBA career. It's his best playoff scoring game. 6 games, 2 opening round eliminations with Minnesota. Scored 36 at Dallas last year. He has 35 now. The Magic stop it with 1:44 to go. Down 10.
Kevin Frazier in the studio. Quick update for you. Sixers and Hornets underway and Jamal Mashburn flowing. The Monster Mash has scored 5 of New Orleans' first 7 points. B. Diddy also in the mix. Baron Davis, the bucket there. Hornets with the 13-2 early lead, Mike. Whew.
All right, we'll get to Brent, Sean, and Sal as soon as we're done. Pistons by 10. With a foul to give here in the last 2 minutes. Wallace back on the floor, and he blocks McGrady's 3, and McGrady fouls Wallace as he went up to get it.
Foul number 1, Tracy McGrady.
3 on Tracy. More free throws for Wallace.
Well, you think he got him. He's only 6'7", 6'8". So you look, I got this. I'll just shoot right over the guy. His quickness, watch this right there. He's already, the knees are already bent, so he's anticipating his shot, and he's going to jump up and get that shot. That's what I'm talking about, anticipation. Not standing there flat-footed, waiting for a guy to jump. Waiting for him to jump in anticipation that I'm going to block the shot.
5 of 14 in the last 5 minutes. Hits the first.
And watch him. See, the knees are bent right there, and he's just waiting. And then all it is boom, up, and that's his God-given gift right there, just being able to be quick and fire up and get him.
Missed the second time in his career that Ben Wallace has had a 20-point game. 20 is his career high. It's 11 with 90 seconds to go. Prince trying to deny McGrady. Detroit still a foul to give. Giriček going in and got it to go. 9. They don't go to foul Wallace right away. Doc Rivers tried that for 90 seconds. It really didn't do anything to the lead, as you had indicated, Tom. Tayshaun Prince is now fouled. A 65% shooter in the season.
Foul number 7, Gordan Giriček.
I think 8 of 9 from the line here in this series, 2 of 2 tonight.
I think going into same game 7, Giriček's got to find a way to get himself off. He's got to find a way to get going and get himself shots. So you know what? If it's not called for me, if we're going to go to McGrady, I have to get 10 shots this game. I got to find my way into the offense and get myself involved. You know, McGrady would be happy with that, too. It's just a matter of him going out there and doing it.
Much like San Antonio, struggles from the free throw line in the playoffs, will not get a 1 seed far. Armstrong almost came down. Wallace comes away with the turnover. Final minute here in Orlando. Pistons by 10. And the Magic not looking to foul here. And the Detroit Pistons have been around a long time. They've been around since 1957. I know you don't get into these situations often, but they're going to do something that has never happened in franchise history as Billups rises up and hits 3. And they can fire up round ball 1. The Pistons playing. It's heading back to Detroit with the series still alive. The Pistons will win game 5 and 6 in a series to force a game 7 for the first time ever. The Orlando Magic will play with so much pressure in Game 7 on Sunday as Billups calls for time.
Detroit timeout.
They had 2 opportunities to close it out. Detroit has staved off elimination for the 2nd time in all likelihood, thanks to the best point production night in the career of Chauncey Billups and Ben Wallace. We'll be right back and then get you immediately to New Orleans when we're done here. Well, it's been a very tough sports spring in Detroit. The Stanley Cup champion Red Wings eliminated in 4 by Anaheim. The Detroit Tigers masquerading as a major league team with minor league talent at 3-23. And when the Pistons were down 3-1, it was almost forget about it time. But a 31-point win in Game 5. A huge effort from Ben Wallace here tonight. They've outscored Orlando by 44 in the last 2 games. And Detroit will force Game 7 on Sunday. It will either be at 12:30 Eastern, 3:30 Eastern, or 8. We won't know that until about 1 a.m. after all 3 games are done here today. Sasser missed. Wallace 1 rebound. He has 17 to go with 20 points. Billups scores 40, and there'll be a 7th game. Final score, Detroit 103, Orlando 88. Game 7 on Sunday with Tom Tolbert, Michelle Tafoya, Mike Tirico. So long from Orlando, directly to New Orleans and Philly. Elimination game. Here's Brent Musburger.